We're about to see the green flag as the field working their way out of turn 4.
The 5 opted to take the outside. He's the pole sitter, so they have to go first.
And Larson will take the lead going into turn number 1, and already contact. Chase Elliott got into the back of the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. He slid up the racetrack.
And these cars don't like contact. We've seen a lot of flat tires and issues with that.
They also don't like cold tires. This is the worst your car is going to drive for the next 30 laps. It's hard to get heated tires here. That's why we saw that contact early.
So now stuck on the outside, the 1 of Kurt Busch. And he'll find a spot just in front of the 12 of Ryan Blaney. Christopher Bell out there now in the 20.
See the situation Christopher Bell and that 20 car is in. We're going to see this all day. Started on the outside, worked really hard to find somewhere to go. Now there's a little bit of an opening. There he goes, slows down, gets behind the 12 of Blaney to get to the bottom lane.
Let's take a look at the contact between Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. down here in turn 1. Chase gets in the corner, and they just kind of come together. Nobody's fault really, just racing there in the corner there. Not understanding really what grip or what lines guys are going to run. Looks like everybody gets away okay.
That's just a warm-up tack right there.
Yeah.
Martinsville, man, get ready.
Just letting you know we're here. Logano just in front of Kurt Busch. Again, his situation. He's got to get up there and win this race. But it's a long race, 500 laps here at Martinsville.
With the cold temperatures, this track's not taking a lot of rubber this weekend. So this first set of tires will probably have a little bit more wear than the others, and it's always been a challenge to know just how hard to push. How long will this be? How long will you be on this set of tires? How hard do you push to keep these positions and use up the rear grip, the drive off, and those things?
One driver that can't sit back and wait, the 11 of Denny Hamlin. He's on the bottom of your screen, but look to the left. The leader, Kyle Larson, already a half a lap in front of Denny Hamlin because of the speed that Hamlin is really restricted with traffic. So 2 big panics for the 11A, getting caught up in the wreck that he assumes is going to happen somewhere in this pack. The other option is, you know, how quick is the leader coming? So right here, you see finally, he rode behind the 53 for a couple laps, finally gave him a little hit and was like, listen, buddy, I'm sorry, but the leader is coming, and Kyle Larson would have nothing more than to lap me in this race. So he is going to have to find some clear track if that exists here at Martinsville.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a little congested in front of him right now.
And then he'll have the pace that he needs to get through this group of cars. The question is, will there be contact? You know, it's so dangerous starting at the back of the pack at Martinsville. We saw on lap 1, corner 1, there was contact. Denny Hamlin needs a clean, solid day. This is not the way he wanted to start in the back.
Riding on the roof, the 11 car for Denny Hamlin, the Coca-Cola Zero Sugar camera, as he's trying to find a way around the outside of Ryan Newman. Ryan, one of the more difficult guys to get around in this series. Not cutting the 11 any break here.
Look at the 9 making a move here on the 19, Marty.
Already a little bit of contact, as you guys mentioned, from Chase Elliott to Martin Truex Jr. Chase did come on the radio a little bit after that, said, I hit him pretty square. I don't think there's much damage. But, Steve, it's amazing to me how quickly the 9 team got pictures of that damage. He said, I did hit him square. I don't think it's going to be an issue. But almost immediately when that happened, Alan Gustafson was looking at pictures. How key are getting those pictures to the pit box so you can analyze the damage as a crew chief?
Well, you know, it's different than most weeks. Most weeks you're looking at if there's any damage because you need your car as aerodynamically sound as possible. Here, it's about brake cooling, engine cooling, and tire rubs. Those are your 3 main concerns. So that information, very important. Alan Gustafson can look at this, look at it with his pit crew, come up with a plan if any of those 3 are an issue. Although this 9 looks good early. I mean, he stays with this 19 really effortlessly, just kind of trying to pick and choose if he can find a way around.
Yeah, Truex has had like great pace on the short tracks this year, but it looks like the 9 car has a little more speed at this moment. Dave, what you got?
I talked with James Small about whether they liked what they had here in April or not, and he said we didn't, but that's because we were taking a setup that had worked so well for us here, and we're trying to perfect it just a little bit. We wanted to connect the corners a little bit better for Martin, and it really didn't work out for us. So where we are today is about where we are the 3 times we won at this track.
Looking back from the Toyota cam here on the back bumper of Martin Truex Jr. And Martin Truex Jr., obviously, we talk about being good at this racetrack. He won here in the spring, so we know that he's good on short tracks, especially here at Martinsville. He's looking for the sweep, but getting a lot of pressure right now from Chase Elliott.
Yeah, he's won 3 of 4 at this racetrack, so he's been really good. It's interesting why, when you think about Martinsville, you think about this small racetrack, one groove, but drivers move around on this racetrack trying to find a place where their car drives better. Already you see Martin Truex Jr., he's not on that curb. His left side tires are up the racetrack a little bit, searching for grip. See how Chase Elliott's right on that curb all the way around the racetrack? Martin Truex Jr., he's moved his car around a little bit. Car turns a little bit better for him doing that. It leaves the corner. See right there? Now Chase Elliott tried it. He tried a high entry to get a low exit. So it's only 3 or 4 feet where you move the car around at this racetrack, but it completely changes the way your car drives.
Denny Hamlin, the 11 car, started in the back because of inspection issues, up to 27th, Rick, but a lot of traffic in front.
It's the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs from Martinsville, the Xfinity 500. Make sure to download the official app of NASCAR and follow the action with free live scoring. There's in-car cameras and radio broadcasts. Search NASCAR in your app store to download and start a free trial today. So on Halloween, a few teams have taken on the idea of little Halloween paint schemes. Right, Rutt?
That's right, Rick. Anthony Alfredo there in that spooky-looking Dude Wipes 38. Some great artwork on there, some really good pumpkins. Also in the 52 car, Josh Balicki's got a super-looking mummy mobile for Insurance King there. I know, kids, you're getting ready for Halloween. Don't be scared. It's just a race car, Rick.
Well, it's scary because it's Martinsville.
It's a good-looking car right there. I like that, though.
So, Steve, we know that Denny Hamlin had to start at the back. When we're looking at the points, we can see those. He's actually below the cut line right now, but he's going to make up that ground. How far can he get as far as stage one? Do you think he could earn stage points because of that comp caution?
I do believe the comp caution is going to be a big advantage for the 11 of Denny Hamlin. I think that he can get inside the top 10. I'm a little surprised that it's taken him this long just to get to 25th. We know how good he is around here. You just can't make things happen right away. But even the passes that he does make seems to take a little bit more time. Now, maybe that's just Denny being patient.
We're going to be patient here, man.
There you go.
But there you have it. Patient, spotter's patient. So maybe this is part of his plan. I will say, Jeff, when I think about the 11, he is one more, an analytical, very patient driver in the field.
Oh, yeah, he's very analytical and very good at this racetrack. He's gotten hung up right here. He got by Matt DiBenedetto. He got by several of these guys, and he got caught on the outside, trying to pass him on the outside, got behind Daniel Suarez, and they all got back by him. So now he's going back to work to pass the same guys he had already passed a little bit ago. Dylan.
He is a little bit tight right now, so that may be hindering his progress as well, specifically in the center of the corner. But the biggest thing that Chris Gabehart stressed before they even had to go to the back of the field was just treat this race as one race at a time, in the sense of breaking up the stages into individual races. So they're going to go to lap 60 here, just try to continue to move forward, then go to stage 1, move forward from there, and so on and so forth, just to get themselves back in a good position. So it's been a very calm mentality all day long. Biggest thing they've stressed to him, just keep the fenders on this thing. It's a long race here at Martinsville.
Ryan Blaney running in 7th place right now. Not too bad position-wise, but he's got a lot of pressure behind him. Not only William Byron, but a lot of cars really in close proximity to this 12. The leader's almost a full half a lap ahead of Ryan Blaney, and I'm not seeing great pace for this 12 car. I'm wondering if he's just trying to save a little bit of race car because they know they got that comp yellow coming. But he's going to have a hard time holding off all these cars here and keeping that track position.
He's running that second lane, Junior. That's where his car wants to run. That's where he's happy. But that exposes himself to William Byron driving underneath him and getting into the left side.
Oh, he's a little loose right there.
Yeah, I mean, I understand Blaney wants to be in that outside groove, but with cars that close to you, you almost got to move your lane. See right here, Junior, William Byron in the back of Blaney.
It didn't take really nothing to upset that car, so he's obviously not comfortable, even when guys aren't getting into the back of him. Let's listen to some 12 radio.
It's not under me an entry. Can't roll the curve, really loose entry, no drive exit, with the no security on entry. Get tight in the middle, I can't turn the wheel.
Lots of problems in the balance of that race car. They're going to have to go to work to help Ryan Blaney so he can move forward.
That loose on entry, that's exactly why it took almost no contact to get him turned around, riding along with the Ford Performance camera. But he's got his hands full, because when he says he's loose on entry, when you're a driver, you want to drive in the corner, get on the brakes, turn that wheel, just turn it, feel the right front. He can't do that. Every time he turns the wheel, he's got to turn it back to the right to catch up with the rear end, Marty.
And Jeff, we've talked about that loose entry and how difficult it is at Martinsville. Blaney saying not getting any better as he tries to hold off Christopher Bell right behind him. Junior, you know Ryan Blaney better than anybody, and I would have said a few years ago, a race like Kansas where they got 1 point at Kansas, that is it. That might have done him in for the next week, but I think Ryan Blaney has matured. I think what he does today and how he might rebound from a difficult race last week will tell us a lot about Ryan Blaney today. I'm curious to see what you think about that.
Yeah, I think he's just need to be patient right here. They're going to have some chances to work on this car. Don't freak out. It's a long race, but I know they need the stage points. They got to press hard, but get the car to pit road when they can, and work on it. Great battle up top here for second place. 9-car Chase Elliott going around Truex as they got in traffic here. It's exposed its 19 a little bit. The pace of the 9 still there as we go throughout this run.
How difficult is it to choose the right line now for guys like Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. when they're trying to get by this traffic?
Well, you hope the slow traffic goes to the top, right? The really slow. You got several different types of cars. Some that are really slow, some that are good race cars just don't have the pace today. You hope the cars that are really struggling give you the bottom, just point you to the bottom and not race you.
Saw it there, Anthony Alfredo pointed to the inside there for Martin Truex Jr.
So as we look at this battle right here, looking at Kyle Larson and how close he is to Denny Hamlin. There's Denny coming off of turn 4. There's Larson. Larson closing in as we got a comp yellow around lap 60. 20 laps, man. He could get close to that 11. Denny's going to have to try to pick it up a little bit. He's been trying to save his car, take it easy, to allow them to be able to have the tires to get creative on these few first pit stops to get that track position, but you have to hustle a little bit here toward the comp yellow.
And the reason Denny started at the back, Steve, they went through inspection. He failed twice before he was able to advance through that inspection process.
Yes, so 2 failures and you go to the back. A third one, they would have lost his crew chief. So luckily they got through the 3rd time. As you see Chase Elliott working through traffic here, doing a nice job kind of picking and choosing his spots.
43 laps in from Martinsville. Kyle Larson dominating once again. Sunday Night Football on NBC and Peacock. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys face Dalvin Cook and the Vikings. Coverage tonight starting at 7 p.m. Eastern for Football Night in America. What a beautiful view looking down on Martinsville Speedway. Aerial coverage today brought to you by Geico. And the crowd enjoying some great racing, beautiful weather here. And Kyle Larson is right in the thick of it. He is putting cars a lap down. He's looking at Cole Custer, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Chase is closing in that 9 car as this 5 works traffic. I think Larson's being really careful trying to get through these guys without any contact, and it's allowed the 9 to close in. Also, obviously, the 9's just really fast. I mean, he's probably got the best race car on the racetrack right now in pace. This is also allowing Denny Hamlin to get a little bit of distance between him and Kyle Larson to avoid going a lap down before the comp yellow around lap 60, just 8 laps away.
There's what Larson has to deal with side by side in front of him.
The two JTG Doherty teammates running side by side.
Ready to go by the 37. It's Ryan Preece. Doesn't know what his year looks like next year. Won't be driving for JTG Doherty.
And the pace that Kyle Larson is setting is impressive. You know, this race a year ago, kind of the same idea, comp yellow. They only lapped to the 28th position. And currently Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is running 22nd. So Kyle Larson, a good pace as the leader, lapping all the way up almost to the 20th position. That's going to change kind of the complexion of this race as we continue on, as the 9 dive bombs the 37. Nice move by Chase Elliott.
Line now with 6 more.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in that 47 car is not going to be an easy pass. he is going to make it hard. It's all right there. Larson's trying really hard to play nice and not have contact. Does not want to damage his car.
Well, the problem Larson has right here is this stage win doesn't matter. The points don't matter, but it matters to Chase Elliott. He wants that extra point. If he can pass the 5 of Kyle Larson, that's 1 extra point at the end of this stage. So he's going to fight all the way to lap 130. Larson, I think he's in this for the long haul. He wants to win the race, but he wants to keep his car from being damaged.
Here's Chase to the inside.
For the lead, Chase Elliott inside of the 5, and Larson doesn't put up much fight. Elliott out front.
Chase set that up in turn 1 and 2. Ran a little bit higher than the 5 through the corner and kind of turned down on the corner exit. Had a little bit better run down the back straightaway. Obviously, Larson did let him get by there, but I think the 9 car was inevitably going to be able to take the lead here in a lap or a corner or 2.
Well, let's see what happens now that Chase has caught Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Stenhouse's car has good corner exit speed. It's not good right here in the middle of the corner. Everybody can drive underneath him, but off the corner, in that high line, he has really good forward drive. It's going to be a hard pass. They're catching a lap car. Where does Cody Ware go?
And on lap 59, again, competition caution coming in about 2 laps, on or around lap 60.
There, Larson to the outside. There you go. This lap traffic's playing a role.
I think Larson's going to get trapped here behind the slower 51 car as they move through. 9 will retain the lead here. Again, though, Ricky Stenhouse not allowing these guys through. It's his prerogative to race how he wants, to stay on the lead lap, make it as difficult as he wants for these guys.
19 is caught up as well. 3 cars now fighting for the lead. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. still not giving Chase Elliott the line he wants.
Oh, the 51 back there, really dirt tracking it off the corner.
And Stenhouse Jr. stays on the lead lap when the competition caution comes out.
And that battle by Stenhouse really helps his teammate Ryan Preece, because Ryan Preece should get the free pass. So that's a big swing of events for JTG.
It's a great job by Stenhouse Jr. Fighting to stay on that lead lap. Good work.
So Chase Elliott fights his way up to the front, is able to get by Larson, and Martin Truex Jr. had closed the gap there. He was running in the 2nd position, Keselowski 3rd or 4th, and Kyle Busch in that 5th position. Mountain Dew is fueling outdoor enthusiasts with chances to win epic prizes this fall. Dew fans can visit DewOutdoors.com to take action to protect the outdoor spaces they love for daily chances to win. Each action taken means more chances to win amazing prizes, including a 2022 Ford F-150.
Halfway through the first stage, pit road is open. I expect to see all the lead lap cars come to pit road for those fresh tires and perhaps more important, some adjustments.
What about Denny Hamlin?
Oh yeah, he's in the lead lap. He's going to come as well, I think, Dave.
Good long run speed for the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. running third there. You saw him closing at the end, but he was a little bit tight. He wants an air pressure adjustment for that. And Kyle Busch in the 18 car, the left rear is shaking. He needs an adjustment somehow to get that to stop happening because it goes all the way through the corner, Marty.
Chase Elliott said the car turns really well, but started to lose rear grip at the end of the run. But he said, I'm not unhappy with it. Let's leave it like it is. Cliff Daniels said the same thing for Kyle Larson. Loose on entry, loose on exit, but they said they think the track is going to go through a significant swing as stage one goes on. So they're going to make no changes on the 5-hole drag race between the Hendrick cars, but Kyle Larson, using that pit stall #1 to his advantage, reclaims the lead.
Grabs top spot once again as it comes off pit road. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Ford. Build Ford proud. Ally. Do it right. And by New Coke Zero Sugar. Now even more delicious. Rod, a lot of the fans are showing their Halloween support here at the racetrack.
That's right, Rick. And you know what? I've stood it as long as I can. I just gotta get into my costume now. I'm ready. I'm ready for a party, and I'm not the only one. Take a look at the 78 car. BJ McLeod has got a great paint scheme today. He's got some pumpkins on there. Keen Parts is looking good, but he's not the only one. Oh no, the Candyman himself, Kyle Busch, always delivering with that M&M's Toyota Camry. That paint job is spooky as could be. Guys, I got to tell you, I wish I'd come up with a better costume, maybe a slightly warmer one. It is staying cool and real windy down here in the infield.
Well, Rutt, something that's scary, it seems like, at Martinsville for Denny Hamlin is the speed limit, because he can't abide by it on pit road.
Well, does it count if he did it like 90% of pit road correct? It was the last segment. So all the way around the corner, you're going to see he's inside this 17. And then right here, from this white line basically to this yellow line, he kind of pulls to the left too fast. Now that segment's only 60 feet long. The rest of the pit road segments are like 130. Let's listen in to Denny Hamlin.
Lambert, I know you were telling him back up, but you just got to pull him harder there. You just got to pull him harder. There was no reason right there. Yeah, 10-4.
That's conversation spotter to crew chief, letting the crew chief know, listen, there was nothing to be gained. He knows where he was speeding. He doesn't believe there was an opportunity to gain time there. Luckily, it's early in the race, but we'll see if he can get lucky enough again to get through all this traffic.
Huge penalty. I mean, he's on the lead lap. Look where he's starting. He's at the tail end of the longest line.
Field approaching the Geico restart zone. Larson chose the outside once again. clean through 1 and 2 this time, as Chase Elliott has the 2 of Brad Keselowski on his outside.
Chase Elliott slid up the middle of the corner there a little bit. Seems to be fighting just a little bit of grip issue on a new tire.
Oh, Brad got really loose in the middle of the corner. That allowed Chase some clearing.
Cool temps in the concrete, low track temperature, sticker tire. It's just a tough thing to navigate. These cars trying to maintain the position you're trying to keep. Guys from getting around you, and big moments like that are happening all throughout the field.
William Byron, watch him drive it way deep into the corner. He knows they're lined up on the inside. The only way he's going to make this work is to outbreak them on corner entry.
Riding along with Kyle Busch in this Xfinity onboard. All right, how much patience do you have to have, drivers? So close, so tight confines, knowing this race is so long, you have to be patient to make these passes.
Well, hey, listen, you got to be aggressively patient. I mean, it's a long way to go. But if you just ride around, you know, if you just ride around.
Oh, we got a car around. Ryan Newman spins off of turn 4.
Right in front of the 11 of Denny Hamlin.
A little bit of contact with several cars as they try to squeeze through.
Big break for Denny Hamlin right here. I'll let him line back
He hit
up.
the wall with the left front. Down in.
That's radio on the 6 car. I saw those guys. They had a little issue off turn 2. A couple of guys get 3 wide down the back straightaway. Let's take a look at it.
McDowell has some damage.
So the 99 got underneath all those guys on the back straightaway with a great run. They go down the corner, just not enough room. Contact's made. He's riding on board Denny's.
Easy, keep rolling here. Stay high, stay high, stay high, stay high.
He does a good job.
How close does he get to the wall here?
Yeah, he does a good job not only not making contact with other cars, Rick, but like you say, stayed off that fence with the right front.
So a close call for Denny Hamlin. Are you changing your tune as far as will he still score stage points, Steve?
Absolutely, 0 doubt. Especially now,
Okay.
because this is going to allow him. Now he's not tail end anymore.
Yeah.
Now he gets to pull up and start with the lead lap cars.
Close call for Hamlin, one of the playoff challengers here at Martinsville. We've mentioned the historic nature of Martinsville Speedway. Track facts for Martinsville brought to you by Yellowwood Protector. Shortest track on the Cup Series schedule, just over a half-mile. Only track that has hosted a race in every Cup season. That's right, since 1949 when NASCAR was formed. This being the 146th Cup race today. So incredible what this track and the fans around here have seen since 1949. Started off as a dirt track, now concrete in the corners, asphalt along the straightaways, long straightaways. Fans back up on their feet as we get ready for the restart. So early in the race, the Hendrick drivers playing nice with each other, where we see Kyle Larson say, okay, I'm going to take the outside as long as you let me get into turn 1 first.
Yeah, we've seen that multiple times. Now the concern is late in the race that usually ends up with some pushing and shoving back in the second row. We'll see as the race continues if that ends up being an issue.
Yeah, because making it work, Chase Elliott launches very slowly. Martin Truex Jr. behind him. If that's with 10 to go, is going to be pushing him. A little patience now, but it won't be later. Marty.
Little conversation, Jeff, on the 9 radio about maybe some voltage issues. Listen in.
A bit about your volt for a second. Fine now, 14.4 at the end of the straightaway, about 14.2. And lowest RPM point, it was down about 12.9 to 13 when I had my bands on. Coming to the green, thought it was a little low. Solid in charge.
So that was the restart before, and Steve, what Alan Gustafson told Chase Elliott, he said the way we're kind of designed with the car electrically, it's not going to charge very well under caution. So sort of unpack that. And I know with the alternator issues that Hendrick Motorsports has had lately, got to be a little bit of a concern, but maybe not too much this early.
Yeah, this is a track you have to be very concerned for your electrical load because you run a lot of fans. And the other issue is pace speed is so slow, the RPM of the engine very, very low. So the belt and the alternator just not spinning very fast. With all that electrical load, you can actually damage the alternator. So it's important on the crew chief. One more thing you have to do is remind your driver, whatever the system is, right? Fans on, fans off, all of those different things sounded to me like that was radio back under green. Chase Elliott let him know now that we're at speed, the volts seem to be a whole lot better. So that's good news for the 9 car.
Only 49 laps remaining in stage 1. It's Larson, Elliott, Truex Jr., and now the 24 of William Byron has fallen into this 4th position, Parker.
Right, Rick, he's been flying one of the fastest cars on the racetrack before the competition caution, and once again after the competition caution, the highest running non-playoff driver in the field. And I talked to his crew chief, Rudy Fugel, about being that non-playoff driver and fighting these cars. He said racing in these races is about proving we can race at an elite level. That means acing as if we are racing for that championship. Even though they got knocked out in the round of 12 at the Roval, they feel like the performances they've shown in this playoff shows they belong to be in these playoffs, and it gets them ready for next year. And really, that 24 car is probably the fastest car on the racetrack aside from his 2 teammates who are running 1-2 right now.
See, Larson is not able to keep his car on the bottom of the racetrack. He's just going to pull over, let Chase Elliott go. Chase is definitely faster. Larson, his car is not making the grip that he wants to make.
And, you know, Jeff, Larson was pretty vocal coming here that this isn't his best racetrack. He's run okay here, but thinks he has a lot to learn. So I know he did let the 9 go there, but I think this race is important for Kyle Larson just to absorb all of this Martinsville experience without the pressure of having to win already locked into Phoenix, Marty.
Trust me, they're trying to learn everything they can because they'll tell you this is their worst racetrack. In fact, Kyle Larson told me, I can promise you my car is going to be better than me on Sunday afternoon. So far, pretty good. But listen on the radio after the last run of what Cliff Daniels told Kyle Larson about how to start the run.
So that was 5 green flag laps. You are really good on exit for those 5. Just make sure you're not shocking your rears too early in a run. Chase may be a little softer on his rears. That's the difference of the half-tenth, you know, right there as we get going.
So, Dale, you had to learn this racetrack at one point. It's little nuances like that. Hey, take care of your rear tires early in the run. That's how your teammate is better than you. Those little things make a big difference.
Yeah, he says shock the rear tires. So if you just hammer on the race car and hammer on the throttle at the start of the run, you eat away at the tire life that you need at the end of the run. So hard, you know, 5 hard laps at the very first part of the run can hurt the car on the last 20 laps. Dave, What do you got here?
Pit crews working very quickly under conditions that are very competitive. Sometimes the wheel is left loose. That's what Ross Chastain was sure that he had, so they went to work changing it to the 42.
The concern here at Martinsville, the length of pit road, I mean, it's basically 3/4 of a lap. You're going to lose 2 laps relative to the leader. Jeff, we talk every race just how difficult it is to try to get back from 2 down.
Yeah, it's so difficult, Steve, getting 2 down, trying to recover from that. Ryan Blaney, Austin Dillon is all over the rear bumper. Ryan Blaney, he's slowing this group up. Austin's getting into him about every corner he gets into the back of him. It's driven underneath him a couple times, and Blaney's been able to stay in front, but he is under assault. Marty.
So how bad was the handling of the 12 car even before this most recent pit stop? Listen on the radio.
I'm in big trouble here, but man, I just have no right rear. I can't get in the corner, any stability. Don't exit the corner with any drive. I can't really even tell you if I'm tight middle because of the loose entry. You know, just not having wheel in it. We just got to fix my entry. It's just nothing to lean on back there.
Oh, and damage now. He has gotten contact from Austin Dillon. Blaney saying the car is a little bit tighter, but clearly Dillon was a little frustrated with Blaney there. A critical stage here, 38 to go in this stage, and he has to get stage points.
Big damage on that left rear. It doesn't look like a tire rub. Trying to be a little bit of concern with that fuel fill. Let's just take a look right here. A little bit of contact. Man, damage to the right front of the 3 as well. So, man, this 12 car, a lot of damage. Tire looks good. We'll have to see how it looks when they come in for the pit stop as far as putting fuel in, Rick. That would be my concern right away.
Second week in a row between these two. Last week at Kansas. Remember the two? Running with each other. 12 gets into the wall and behind the wall. That's why Ryan Blaney right now is in the position he's in, fighting to stay in the playoffs to make it into the championship for now. Blaney running 9th. Blaney now back to 11th. Christopher Bell got by him. There was contact between those two. Want to look back on how that pass happened between the 3 and the 12 and listen to the throttle of the 12 as the 3 is trying to get by him.
We don't have the telemetry to be able to understand if there was, an issue, just a lift off throttle, or a little bit of a brake check right there because of some frustrations from behind the wheel of the 12 car, and then later on, just a few laps after that, the 20 gets into the corner a little bit too far. A little bit of contact right there. Marty.
Blaney already outside of getting any stage points here, sitting in 11th. That's Eric Almirola right behind him, trying to put him back to 12th. Steve, it's always puzzling when you come here in the spring. You're so good. Remember, Ryan Blaney won both stages here, had by far the best long-run car. Looked like he was the car to beat until Martin Truex Jr. got the lead late. So Todd Gordon came back with the same exact setup he had here in the spring. I asked him about that this morning. He said, hey, I knew it worked. I know that's what we needed here in the spring. I know Ryan was happy with it, but right now, obviously, struggling with the handling of that car. Listen, hindsight 2020, right? But now I think they've got to figure out how they make the car better for the rest of this race.
Well, it's the same Goodyear tire, but temperature makes a big difference. The surface temperature makes a real big difference, whether tire rubber goes onto the concrete or not. And everybody else improves. I mean, you know, fundamentally, I know that this is a track that kind of the same idea setup-wise certainly works from race to race, but I've done this. I've come back, oh, this is the tried and true, and you leave here scratching your head saying, we will never do that again. Try something different and try to improve.
So I think right now, the biggest thing Ryan Blaney needs is a common voice in his head. Just reminding him, look, this has not started the way we wanted it to, but we still have almost 400 laps to get done what we need to get done. Like, just recenter, refocus. We will make this car better for you. Get his brain back into the mission. I know he's frustrated. I know he's upset. His car's damaged, but his day is not done. You've got to just keep fighting.
Dylan, what have you got on Denny?
Well, they've continued to fight as well. And remember, they nearly were collected in that spin from Ryan Newman a few laps ago. Take a listen to the radio.
Oh, man, that was it. I don't know what it was, but I said we're fine, right? Yeah. If I didn't let off the brake, it was right fronted. Yep.
So it was very close, obviously. We saw how close he was to the wall, but crisis averted. Biggest thing that did for them, though, caution was actually a blessing in disguise. It brought them back to the tail end of the lead lap cars, so they gained about 15 positions on track. Not necessarily in the running order, but just past 15 cars. So big break for them there. Denny's still just too tight. In fact, it's gotten worse on this run.
And now he's right behind Ricky Stenhouse Jr. again. Difficult to pass. And Bubba Wallace, winner at Talladega earlier this year. And actually, Denny's the owner of that car that he's about ready to go on the outside of, or trying to get by.
He's trying to be patient with the 23, but the 47 is definitely kind of struggling to get by. You can see the 11 has more speed. He can run the bottom or the top, and he's right on the rear bumper, but this is not a three-wide racetrack. We've seen it before, but you definitely don't want to do that with 19 to go in stage one. So Denny being patient, trying to follow the 47 through the top. Bubba Wallace doing a nice job, though, not giving up the position.
We spent a lot of time talking about these playoff drivers, but one guy having a great run today, driving through this field, the 3-car of Austin Dillon, all the way up to 8th place and trying to pass Joey Logano for 7th here on the bottom of the racetrack. That damage to the right front doesn't seem to be hurting the pace on this race car too much.
Austin Dillon, he's moving forward. We've seen Ryan Blaney go back, Joey Logano go back. Chase Elliott, he's still up front as we go NASCAR nonstop. It's NASCAR Cup Series playoffs from Martinsville, the Xfinity 500. Still up front, Chase Elliott. He has led 44 laps. Kyle Larson was up front for 77 laps. Those are the only two cars that have led here at Martinsville to start this race. Guys who need points: Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski. Well, Truex Jr. is running third. Keselowski is running fifth right now. Parker.
Hey guys, for Joe Logano, he's in a must-win position, struggling right now with the handling of that race car, and recently just got passed by Austin doing the 3 car. But take a listen to his radio, what he noticed on that 3.
I got a hole in the right front. Yep. He moves Blaney.
Well, sometimes there's a thought process here at Martinsville. Maybe removing that right front fender can keep that right front cooler, help that car turn. As we're seeing that 3 car be very fast right now for Joe Logano. He's been struggling keeping the rear tires on that car and exit, and also getting to turn the center in that 22. But there you get a good look at that 3 car. That hole maybe helping that right front a little bit, guys.
Yeah, if it becomes pit road, I wouldn't be patching that up. If anything, I'd be cutting some more of it off. Because what happens is these front tires, they get a bunch of heat from the brakes. Air pressures go up. If you're cooling the surface temperature of that tire throughout the run, you're going to be at a little bit of an aero disadvantage firing off on new tires. But over the long run, you will have so much more grip than the guys out there on the racetrack with fenders. I've had this happen to me multiple times. And when you can cool that tire, it really helps out the full performance of the car on the long run. Dylan.
And Junior, he did say that the car was getting better before that contact as the track rubbered in. But since the contact, he has come back and said it is really, really good, as you'd expect because of what you guys just explained. So Austin gets around this racetrack really well regardless. He likes this racetrack, but they've got a pretty strong piece right now behind the wheel of that 3 car.
A guy we're used to talking about a lot, Kyle Busch. Hadn't heard much from him, having a very solid, quiet day. Sitting here 6th place. Gonna earn him
Like even right there when I had to slow down for traffic in the middle, started with the front, and just kind of split the back around, rotated around the center of the car.
We're just giving good information. Gonna get some solid stage points right here. I know he wants a little bit of speed, but really accomplishing what he needs to in this first stage, Dave.
And just a bit of a quandary, Jeff, for crew chief Ben Bayshore when he comes to pit road. Spotter Tony Hirschman noticed that he was not getting into the corner very well. He felt like he was driving off fine. Kyle, on the other hand, has reported, it's all about my drive off. So sometimes the spotter sees things that the crew chief needs to know about. The driver ultimately behind the wheel has information that his rear end is feeling. What does Ben do?
Listen to the driver.
I was going to see what your answer was.
Isn't that always the driver's answer? Listen to the driver?
Well, for sure. And this is a track that, you know, handling. If the car drives good, you're going to go faster.
Coming out of 4 for the final time of stage 1, and it's Chase Elliott getting his 3rd stage win here at Martinsville, 5th already this year overall. And again, Martin Truex Jr. scoring points, Brad Keselowski scoring points. Kyle Busch also scoring those points. Joey Logano, we mentioned it, he's in a must-win situation, but grabbed a couple points here in stage 1. Well, it's just the beginning of the race, but it has definitely been a scary start to this one already for Ryan Blaney. We're less than 100 days out from the Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum on February 6th. You could be a part of this historic event and secure your tickets now at NASCAR.com/LA Coliseum. They will be obviously running that next-gen car. And Junior, we saw you climb into that next-gen car at Bowman Gray on Tuesday. How did it feel?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Car brakes, really, really good. Giant brakes on this thing, so that took some getting used to. And that bigger tire gives the car so much more drive off. I was really surprised by how much grip there was available when you got back into the gas. I had a lot of fun driving this thing. Tony Stewart took the car down for many laps. I ran a handful, and Clint Boyer ran some as well. We all had a lot of fun that day.
You were faster than Clint, though, right?
I was, Stewart ran about 15.5s, maybe a little quicker. I run as 15.6, and Clint was in the 16.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that you were faster than Clint.
Look at the scene around here, campers everywhere. And take a look at that racetrack right there. Think of that Coliseum, half the size of this place.
Yeah, quarter mile.
You think this place has some beating and banging.
Dave.
5 valuable stage points for Kyle Busch that time, and as he went through a litany of suggestions for Ben Bayshore, he was calm as could be. Keep working on it. They'll make a chassis adjustment here. 8 valuable, 10-9-8 valuable stage points for Martin Truex Jr. His car was a little bit free on the fire-off, Marty.
Brad Keselowski predicting a long run coming up. So he told Jeremy Bowens, I'm going to need drive off. That's my biggest issue. That's what they're going to work on. Meanwhile, for Chase Elliott, bottom left of your screen, 10 very valuable stage points. That's going to go a long way to making the rest of their day a little more comfortable. He said, my drive off is not bad, but I did lose a little bit of exit security. That was a tight race off pit road. Yes, Larson nips his teammate Chase Elliott at the line.
That first pit stall working out for Larson. We'll see if he's able to hold on to the lead when we go back to racing. Stage 2 coming up. Go full throttle with Wi-Fi speeds worth celebrating. Fast internet for a faster everything. Can your internet do that? Rutledge.
Rick, this track has so much history. When they opened in 1947 and with NASCAR starting in 1949, they've had a Cup race here every single year. This is race 146 in the Cup Series, and this is a place where history is literally made from the paving in 65, Fred Lorenzen getting the first grandfather clock in 66. Careers have been made and lost here. History is made and lost here, and a lot of times it's made on pit road, Rick. Isn't that true?
Well, it seems like it could be today, especially for drivers like, well, Denny Hamlin, who was caught on pit road speeding, and now Kyle Larson has been caught on pit road speeding as well.
And it's the last segment, the same segment that got the 11 of Denny Hamlin, which is surprising because Kyle Larson has what is now pit stall 1, but that's really what was old pit stall 2 because of less cars in the field. They moved everything back, so he's pitting right there in that first pit stall, and there's only about a 60-foot timing line to this yellow line, but they have so much gear, so much grip in the back of this car, such soft rear springs to drive off these corners that they dropped the Jack and Kyle Larson. So Kyle's pitting about right here. And this is the segment that got him. So he can accelerate out of pit lane and somehow get over speed in that 60-foot segment. Slow pit road, a lot of rear gear. That comes down to too much of an issue for the 5 car of Kyle Larson.
And currently there are 22 cars on the lead lap. He will start 22nd now after what he thought was winning the race off of pit road and being up there in the front row. Field approaching the Geico restart zone once again. This time it's Elliott and Truex Jr. making up row 1.
We heard Brad Keselowski feel like there was a long run coming. We'll see if his prediction's right. We've seen him here before.
Ran way up the racetrack right there, entered really high. It's almost on the asphalt in the middle of the corner.
How about a couple cars up there, playoff cars that have been eliminated? William Byron in the 24, Christopher Bell in the 20. You have to ask yourself with that 24, guys, what could have been? I mean, he fought his way through with Bristol and then just couldn't find his way out of the Roval. But this 24 is having one of the best playoffs we've seen for a young driver. I know it's not what they're looking for, but a lot of opportunity, a lot of information being learned. First year with crew chief Rudy Fugle. I think he has a bright future.
Yeah, he's second in points earned this round. You know, looks like he was in good shape at the Roval to race himself in. Some contact late in the race got him offline, but he and Rudy Fugle have done a really nice job. Dylan, what do you have on Christopher Bell?
Yeah, another playoff driver that has been eliminated, but has had a good last couple of weeks. 4 straight 8th or better place finishes for Christopher Bell. He's got a new voice on top of the box. Adam Stevens, the regular crew chief, of course, suspended this week after a lug nut violation. So Tyler Allen making his crew chiefing debut this afternoon. He's normally the lead engineer, but been a good day for these guys again today. They've had a lot of mistake-free days the last few weeks. It's exactly what they're having again today. Christopher just saying he's a little bit tight behind the wheel of that 20 car.
And I'll add that there you see Tyler right there. You know, we talk about communication at the big tracks. I think the crew chief can do a fine job from afar. But at a short track like this, you expect to have damage. Pit road opens very quickly. I know Adam Stevens is trying to control the strings from a distance. Of course he would. It's his race team. But Tyler's going to have to make some last-minute calls at some point during the day. So this is a tough place. I made my crew chiefing debut at New Hampshire, and I blinked and it was over. And it's twice the size of this racetrack. So this would be a tough place to start.
Marty, how about Ryan Blaney? How is he doing now?
Yeah, Rick, to find playoff driver Ryan Blaney, you have to go almost back as far as you would go to find Kyle Larson. Restarted 20th. Todd Gordon told me they took a little time to fix that damage. See some tape and some bare bond on that left rear. That was the issue for Blaney when Austin Dillon made contact with him. But taking the time now, Steve, at the end of stage 1, I think that was a wise call by this team to make sure it's right for the rest of the race.
This place, you just have to take a breath and understand that it is a long race. We talk about distance, you know, the Coca-Cola 600 or 500 at Texas a few weeks ago. It's only 500 laps. It's a half mile. You think it will be quick, but this is an absolute battle because you never get a breath. I mean, you're on board right now with Ryan Blaney, and regardless of when we go to this onboard, there's going to be cars in front. There's going to be cars behind. You just cannot shake them. 40 cars in a half mile. Just not enough asphalt and concrete around this place to spread out.
Yeah, Steve, you said it. You talked about the pressure and how quickly things happen. Well, Roger Penske on the radio just a little while ago telling Ryan Blaney, hey, look, it's a long race. Just stay cool, stay calm. That's great instructions from a guy that has seen and been around and been part of a ton of champions and championships. Great advice.
So, Jeff, are you going away from your patiently aggressive conversation earlier?
Listen, man, if you can't just ride around, okay?
Yeah,
you can't
I
just ride,
understand.
Martinsville doesn't let you do that. You have to be aggressive, but you can't cross that line, and you can't let your emotions get the better of you.
24 car here, putting a little pressure on the 18. I think Kyle Busch decided that it was probably best to allow this 24 to go. He moves over down the back straightaway. Byron moves into third position.
For what it's worth, patiently aggressive makes perfect sense to me.
Okay.
So perhaps Jeff and I have worked together for too long, but I like that quote. That makes perfect sense. Listen, be patient when you have to, aggressive when you have to, and just don't mess up and get them confused.
Get them crossed.
Yeah.
Xfinity Cam giving us a great shot from Kyle Busch back to Christopher Bell. And this is an interesting situation that's brewing here between Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch. As they're running right now on the track, it's the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. who is above the cut line, and now Kyle Busch is below that cut line. Dave.
So does Martin Truex Jr.'s crew chief James Small care? Listen.
Right now, as it stands on the points, I know it's early, but we're one to the good as it runs on Kyle. Gotcha. Yep, and pull.
And the Yep 10-4 was after Martin said, yeah, but it's early. It is early. But right now they've got the advantage over their teammate, Dylan.
And his teammate, obviously, in another somewhat similarly precarious point situation. Here was Chris Gabehart's update to Denny Hamlin.
Not going to bother you with too many details on the points, but we did gain on it. 22 cars on the lead lap. We don't need much more than that. So keep being smart here. Slow and steady. And no more speeding, of course.
And that's exactly what they're doing, slow and steady, and Denny has finally broken into the top 10. They're getting his race car better for him too, Parker.
Right, Dylan, in the car he just passed was Joe Logano on that 22, now just lost a position to Bubba Wallace there as he's really struggling with handling that race car throughout this race. He's talked about it being very loose early in the runs, and then it built tighter to center without adding any rear grip on the exit. Paul Wolfe has been throwing adjustments, but it continues to get worse as this track rubbers up. Remember, came in here in a must-win position, and slowly but surely is slipping away in the performance of that 22 car. They're going to need some major adjustments here to change the fortune around the 22.
Plenty of racing to go. Still 101 laps in stage 2, and they'll pay points there again. Chase Elliott out front here at Martinsville. It's time to play with everybody's favorite killer doll, Chucky. He's back and taking over your television with a classic coming-of-rage story. Check out new episodes every Tuesday on USA and Sci-Fi at 10, 9 Central, and stream the latest episodes on demand now. Want to look at the Cup Series playoff standings brought to you by Xfinity. As we mentioned, there's still more points to be gained in stage 2 as they're running. Larson obviously with the 2 wins, he's on to the championship 4. Chase Elliott leading would lock himself into that championship 4. And now points wise, Denny Hamlin is in a position where he's above the cut line. Martin Truex Jr. where he's running, he is above Kyle Busch now as far as 6 points the advantage. And every position on the track is a point, Steve.
Well, it started with Elliott and Hamlin feeling very good about points. Elliott scored 10 in stage 1, so he's making his day easier. Denny Hamlin missing out. We had this conversation. I thought he would score some points. He didn't. He struck out. So now it's kind of like try to recover. Currently in the 9th position, just drive somewhere up inside the top 7 or 8, score some stage points, and try to make the final stage less stressful, Parker.
Well, guys, another car that's been very fast throughout this run has been the 48 of Alex Bowman, turning some of the fastest lap times on the track, driving the top 5. You see there's a little bit of damage on the front end for him, but the car just a bit tight in the center right now. And I spoke to Greg Ives about racing these playoffs here as a non-playoff car, and he said today and next week is about base hits for this team. We need to get back on track, show that we can have that performance. Right now, definitely showing it. And I think a lot of this is showing how good Hendrick Motorsports is here today with the speed of the 9, the 24, the 48, and the 5 who's ripping back to the field, Dave.
Kevin Harvick radioed his team that his car's not bad. They just can't maintain turn and drive off through the turn, running about where he started. And when I asked Rodney Childers how he's set up for today, he said, well, I looked at 2 different races in 2 different years with 2 different completely different aero packages, and the driver feedback was really good. That's the setup I put on the race car. We'll see how it works today.
This battle right here is our, watching Brad Keselowski trying to get around the 20 car. Brad a little quicker. His other Penske teammates are struggling. They're fading, but Brad Keselowski is trying to move forward and has the car to do so as he's right on the back bumper, right on that Xfinity bumper cam with Kyle Busch. Christopher Bell trying to protect his teammate, racing Brad as hard as he can.
I feel like Kyle's holding these guys up just a little bit. They've been stacked up behind him for a lot of laps. Christopher not wanting to be aggressive with his teammate.
I'm guessing Brad Keselowski won't have a problem moving Kyle out of the way. Marty.
Rick, it's been a solid day for Brad Keselowski, Jeremy Bollins, and the team so far. 6 stage points in stage 1. But Steve, it's quickly shaping up to be a clear scenario for Brad Keselowski and that race team. So the guys that he's racing for points, in essence, kind of racing around him, there's not enough of points ahead of Brad Keselowski, minus a win that would really get him into Phoenix in the championship 4. So I think if you're Jeremy Bollins, you're figuring out pretty quick, hey, if we want to advance to the championship 4, we're going to have to win this race.
Marty, I would go one further to say that if any of those drivers other than Hamlin and Chase Elliott thought that they were going to get through on points, that was the wrong mentality to come to Martinsville. There are 8 wins. If you look at those 5 drivers kind of racing for that 1 spot, 8 wins between them. You had to show up here thinking it was going to take a win. It may not, but your mentality had better be win, and your aggression on the racetrack should match that.
How aggressive will the 2 be? He's got to the back bumper now of the 18, Dave.
Here's a window into Kyle Busch's struggles.
I need a lot of help here, guys. Like, we ain't going anywhere. Yeah, we'll swing back next stop.
Remember, Bayshore adjusted the car in one direction with one chassis adjustment, tried the other one this time. They don't seem to have hit on it yet.
Keselowski's there. Look to the inside. Wasn't able to complete the pass.
So Larson, after serving that penalty, speeding on pit road, he has caught Joey Logano. And remember, Larson had to start at the tail end of the longest line, so he's come a long way from behind to go by Logano. That's got to be disheartening for the 22 and 22 fans right now. Parker.
Jeff, just one thing to add to the frustration of Joe Logano. You know you're struggling at Martinsville when your team starts telling you where the leader is in relation where you're running on track, and that's exactly what Joe Logano just got told on the radio, where the leader is and how fast he's catching him and saying that he's in turn 3, and that's just one thing that adds that frustration when you're struggling like Joe Logano is right now, when you know that now you're racing against the leaders you see there.
The fact that the driver in 14th is being told where the leader is, when we haven't even got to the halfway point of this race. That's pretty surprising.
Well, that's Martinsville. I don't think it's surprising. Welcome here. The only surprising thing is with the wave around and the free passes, we're going to have 25 cars in the lead lap at the end of this race. A decade ago, you lapped them all, and you would have single-digit cars in the lead lap here. So this is one that, surprisingly, when you get a lap down, just relax. There's a pretty good chance you're going to get your lap back at some point.
Yeah, 3 wide doesn't work. See Corey LaJoie, Ryan Newman, Suarez, then that contact, a little bit of tire rub. That tire rub's gotten a little bit better for Ryan Newman, but he's having to hit pit road right now.
We mentioned long green runs or long green flag runs. Could this possibly be the one? 41 laps currently that we've gone, and it looks like so far everyone's playing fairly nicely out on the racetrack, if you can do that in Martinsville.
Yeah, but if you look in front of the leader at all the cars that he's currently lapping, everybody's starting to get a little more aggressive. That was that 3 wide battle, because I think the leader is coming. You heard what Parker said. When you start hearing the leader's coming, they're, I don't want to say panic, but the urgency, the sense of urgency goes up, because you feel like, man, I can't lose another lap. Whatever you're at in the field, you need to try to start racing on, save as many laps as you can as this race continues, Marty.
And 3 cars up from Chase Elliott is that car of Ryan Blaney, playoff driver, looking at going a lap down. If his teammate Brad Keselowski's prediction is true, and this is a long run, they have been struggling with the handling of the 12 car. In fact, succinct comments from Ryan Blaney a moment ago. Listen.
0, rear, security, no drive, no entry. No motor either.
Just piling it on for Ryan Blaney, who now is looking at Chase Elliott coming up in his rearview mirror quickly. Might go down a lap here.
Potentially the first playoff driver to go a lap down here at Martinsville. And Blaney still fighting to be a part of the championship 4. Terry Bradshaw, of course, he's a legendary quarterback, but who calls the plays at home? Terry Bradshaw takes the field with his wife, Tammy, and their 3 daughters in the Bradshaw Bunch. All new Wednesdays at 9, only on E! It's the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs from Martinsville, the Xfinity 500 from the paperclip. Right now, it's Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. running 1 and 2. Those 2 have won the last 4 races right here, currently running 1-2, as they were 1-2 in the spring as well. Rut.
Rick, I'm back here above the backstretch. I'm getting a really good perspective for how some of these drivers are changing their lines on the brake. We heard Junior talk about the next-gen car and how strong those brakes felt. So, Junior, I'm wondering, for you as a driver, when you've been here, how different do the brakes feel from start to the finish at Martinsville? Do they change a lot over the time?
They actually did. You know, if you ran the car way too hard in the first half of the race, you didn't have the braking performance that you would need late in the race. You tend to get a lot of yellows at the end of this race. Guys charge in the corner, guys right on your back bumper pushing you into the corner. And when you heat up the fronts and the rears start working too well and the fronts go away, the car gets really loose on entry, and we see a lot of guys wheel hop into the corner here late in the run. So I would always try to take care of my brakes and lift early, use less brake early in the race, the first half of the race, and that would pay off late in the day.
See Denny Hamlin right here. Look at the line he's running. Denny Hamlin's driven up to 8th place, just got by Harvick.
3 cars in the wall up here in turn 1 and 2. I think he's got a right front tire down.
And the caution comes out. So Austin Dillon, after that contact that he had made with the 12 of Ryan Blaney, now looks like the right front tire is down. He was running in the 18th spot. And this is the first caution to come out for an incident on the track.
Big break for Blaney right there. Blaney was close to getting lapped. His teammate Joe Logano not far in front of him either.
Take a look here, the 3 car just going up the racetrack a little bit. Obviously some sort of issue with the right front. I don't know if he had contact with another car or just overheated the bead on the inside edge of that tire. Really surprising. Maybe some of that damage is rubbing the tire, but late in the run here, you wouldn't imagine that the tire rub was the problem.
Well, also with no fender on the race car, much of a fender, then it's so much easier to make contact with somebody and cut your tire. The fender protects it just a little bit.
Now look, you drivers can't have the fender to protect the push and shove and cool the right front tire. As the crew chief in this other booth, I can cut the fender off, or I can put the fender back on.
I want my fenders.
I don't want the fender.
Do you know the fender?
I don't know why this ain't working out for Austin. I really don't.
I expect to see the majority of the field pit. That was a pretty long run, 57 green flag laps right here. The tires are starting to wear, so we'll see if everybody's can mind their P's and Q's, and more importantly, mind the pit road speed. We've had a couple speeding penalties already, Dave.
Martin Truex Jr. gave a long explanation of his race car, things that James Small could do to help it. But remember, Martin's running second, so they're just really nitpicking and working on things for Truex's car. As for Kyle Busch, though, he said it on the radio, I need help. They're going to make a longer adjustment here. They're going to pull a Packer, I believe, on the left front to try to get it off of the right side tires so he can get some, quote, left side attachment, Marty.
Brad Keselowski said, I'm just losing rear drive as I go along. He said the car rotates better, but they can point their cars better than I can at the 2/3 mark of the corner, so a little bit tight for Brad Keselowski. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott, quick stop for that bunch. He said, really, the car was pretty good, just taking care of the tires, really, is what Chase Elliott was doing. But Martin Truex Jr. gains a spot here on pit road. We'll see if he can control the race from here, Rick.
And it was really tight between the 2, the 4, and the 11 coming off of pit road. let's take a look at the Ruoff Mortgage Keys to Victory Lane.
Well, choosing wisely on these restarts is important at the choose cone. Be able to get to the lane that you want and take advantage of those opportunities.
And take care of your equipment. I can't help much on the racetrack, but I can coach my driver to remind him to keep those brakes cool and the fenders intact.
This racetrack and this point system will test your values and your morals. What are you willing to do to get done what you need?
Unless you're Dale Jr., then I'm going to tell you to tear the right front fender up so I can tear it, cut it off. So I used to think he was crazy, but there are too many examples of it being removed as an improvement. So I'm going to, this is a check mark in the Dale Jr. column for Martinsville. I believe he's right. No fender, an advantage.
Martin Truex Jr. on the inside, Chase Elliott on the outside for the restart here. 57 laps to go in stage 2. Kyle Larson has worked his way back up into the top 10.
Chase making that outside work pretty good right here. Was wondering how hard he might race Truex. Wow, dives deep down in the corner. Truex gets popped from behind the 24 car. That's going to upset the throttle on corner exit.
Elliott out front, Martin Truex Jr. back to second now, and here comes Alex Bowman working the outside. He's trying to get by teammate William Byron. And he's got pressure from the 18 of Kyle Busch on his inside.
That's what Chase Elliott's looking forward to, man. All his teammates getting up in here and hassling and frustrating all these other guys in the top 5 while he drives away.
Really tight there. As we saw from the Xfinity cam, Kyle Busch really close to that 48s. Bowman.
Another speeding penalty on that pit stop. This time the 8. Tyler Reddick got a speeding ticket. Too fast on pit road.
See Alex Bowman, he's caught up on the outside. He knows if he doesn't get clear, if he can't clear the 18, what's coming. Here it is, Christopher Bell. There's a little bit of contact. Now to the bottom.
He took the spot.
Yeah, that was great work. Just that little bit of contact hurt the 20 car. Was able to get in front of him. Parker.
Well, Jeff, Dale was alluding to that Chase Elliott would like to see his teammates up there maybe holding off some of these other cars, and I spoke to Greg Ives about that exact scenario, and he said, you know, that's part of our role here, to run really well, and if Chase is not in a position to win, to at least take away points from those cars that he's competing against, but also if they can get up there where he's in position to win, to be that buffer between those cars to allow him to go on to the championship four. So it's sort of a dual role. Have a great run if you're the 24, the 48, and also do what you can to help Hendrick Motorsports have a chance at a championship.
It's interesting how teammates work together nowadays.
William Byron applying the pressure now to Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr. running in that second spot. Remember, Chase Elliott coming into this race, he had 34 points above what Ryan Blaney had as far as points, and that put him fairly comfortable in second. What he needs to do after winning stage 1 and getting those 10 stage points, if he finishes 7th or better in this stage, he's locked in. Doesn't have to worry about anything else happening the rest of the race. He will be locked into the championship four.
You can see the 18 car trying to try a high entry into turn 3 the lap before. Hard to do that, though, with a guy right behind you who's going to try to go into that hole. The high entry is a way for you to try to turn the car in the middle of the corner and exit low and get in the throttle sooner to be able to drive up underneath the car. But you cannot do that if you have somebody behind you trying to fill that hole in that high entry.
These restarts are crazy. Everybody gets power up together. Here's Joey Logano, who's been struggling all day. He and Eric Jones making contact all the way down the straightaway. You hope that doesn't cause a tire rub for either one of those guys. See right here, riding along with the Ford cam. It's just Martinsville racing. Marty.
Jeff, you got to wonder what else can go wrong for Ryan Blaney and his team in 18th right now. And when they came down pit road last time, Zach Price, the rear tire changer, the socket literally snapped off the gun when he was doing the last tire. Thankfully, Zach quickly reacted to that, came and grabbed the backup gun and was able to get the tire change done. So they did lose a few spots here on pit road, but man, they have had a tough day with the car, tough day on pit road, but the team doing all they can to keep Blaney in the game.
Well, if you're on the lead lap with about 150 to go, you're in the game, because a lot of things are going to happen in this final stage. So unfortunately, you know, haven't scored those stage points that are so important, but still in the lead lap. A lot of racing still to go.
Blaney right now running in the 18th position. There are only 20 cars on the lead lap.
Eric Jones doing such a good job in that 43 car. Richard Petty's got a lot of clocks from Martinsville in his career. They brought a pretty good car for Eric today.
Yeah, close to the wall where it was right there. He's almost touching it. It's so difficult right here for Blaney trying to make this pass. You can see Eric Jones is right behind Logano.
Look at this. William Byron is going to get by Martin Truex Jr.
Truex trying to cross over to get underneath him. Falls back in line. 24 car just a little faster right now than Martin. We'll see if Byron can drive away. Back here behind him, though, the other Hendrick teammate, Alex Bowman, trying to get around 18 of Kyle Busch on the inside. That'll be a little bit more difficult.
How about Eric Jones on the outside? Right here trying to make this pass on Logano.
It's weird how this outside line, we've watched a lot of guys here around this racetrack, especially deep into the run, make that outside line work.
Look there in the middle of the corner. I mean, it's just so much faster on the bottom, but that corner exit run in that top lane, it just lets you just launch with lots of rear grip.
Bowman was able to get by Busch, so now Kyle Busch back to 5th.
It also shows you just how poorly this car is running for Logano. He is struggling right here to get this car around the racetrack and falling back further and further through this field.
Blaney and Logano running 17th and 18th. They are the furthest back of the playoff drivers. Chase Elliott's out front with teammate William Byron behind him. Gorgeous weekend for camping, and so many are taking advantage of it here at Martinsville. Our aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. As we look onto this half-mile paper clip, let's actually go and ride along with a few of these drivers. Denny, Ryan, Kyle, and Martin. And look at how hard they have to work here at the half-mile Martinsville Speedway. Drivers, I know Kyle Larson has mentioned that he will look to the infield and the scoreboard to see where he's running and who's around him. Were you guys doing that as well when you were racing here at Martinsville?
At every racetrack, you're trying to figure out what lap you're on, and a lot of times you hate to ask the crew chief because you don't want him to think you're being lazy. But you're like, man, what lap are we on? You look at the scoreboard, you're like, oh man, I thought we were way further into this race than that. Always disappointed.
Some tracks are better than others. Some tracks have great score pylons that you could really see well, like Atlanta, Charlotte, those places. You had a great place you could see down the front straightaway.
I'll go one further, Rick. There were a few races that Dale and I were together, and he would all of a sudden just, hey, so-and-so's having a pretty good day. and I literally be like, how does he know that? You know, and he's like, you know, I'm checking the scoreboard. And so, you know, excited to see that guy running well. And it wasn't like we were having a bad day.
Yeah.
Half the time that was behind us. And I was like, man.
That's multitasking.
Yeah, multitasking. It was impressive.
So teammates side by side here. Denny Hamlin, he's worked his way up into the top 10. Now fighting for that 6th spot with teammate Kyle Busch.
And I think this is what frustrates everybody about Denny Hamlin, right? When we look at drivers that have great success here, Hamlin comes to mind, right? Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, so many wins. Denny Hamlin's part of that group. And he just does it in this own signature way where we've seen him up front leading laps, and then other races, drivers, he's just kind of around. And then in the last 100, last 150, maybe the last 200, he shows up in the top 4, the top 5. And he seems to just, his car looks pretty good. It's completely intact. And he has still a good race car to drive, and he goes up there and takes the win away.
Dylan.
And they know that these type of racetracks are their bread and butter. Denny obviously grew up racing on tracks like this and has had so much success here, but the Joe Gibbs Racing cars, specifically that 11 car, feel like these type of racetracks, these 750 horsepower, the slower type racetracks have been better for them this year. So a couple of good tracks to end the year too as we go to Phoenix, of course, next week, but they're still a little bit tight. Forward drive is better, but still trying to get the center to turn a little better for the 11, Dave.
Dylan, they haven't hit it yet for Kyle Busch, and Kyle's looking in every direction, including his own.
Any help would be appreciated with driver's technique. I don't know what's going on here. The main thing is they're just dragging a little bit more brake down into the corner, driving in maybe a half car length deeper, holding brake longer.
Way to go, crew chief Bayshore. I'm willing to play, sure. Maybe it's this or that, and driving it in a little bit deeper, maybe that will help, but Kyle's really searching right now.
That's what I love about this racetrack, man. It's not just, you know, brake the same as everybody else, run the same line as everybody else. It was amazing to me how much you can change what you're doing inside the car with the brake pedal, the gas pedal, your line, all types of things the driver can do here to help the car, change the way the car performs, help the crew chief understand how to work on the car, where you need help. Makes it such a fun racetrack, but that 18 car is still struggling here. A guy who's not. The 10 car just went right around him there. Almirola having a great run today.
Rick Almirola, this is the kind of racetrack that he's been really good on. Remember New Hampshire, won earlier this year. I mean, he dominated the last portion of that race so fast. This is the kind of track, this horsepower, downforce package that fits Eric Almirola really well.
When we talked to him earlier, he was saying he was kind of questioning this season, you know, that hasn't gone the way he'd want it to. Well, not as well as obviously the costumes that they make for Halloween. This is a great time of the year for the Almirola family. They make their own costumes every year. So
Well, that's pretty impressive.
yeah. Right now, Almirola running in that 7th spot here in the top 10.
He's closing in on trying to track down Denny Hamlin, and we were talking about Denny and running well here. Denny came up in the late model stock ranks, and they run a 300 lapper here at Martinsville every year, and that's kind of the Daytona 500 for the Southeastern late model stock division. And I think he prides himself at running well at this racetrack with that connection that series and those type of cars have with this racetrack. And he's kind of knew how to get around here before he ever got in a race car and ran in the Cup Series at this level.
Of the active drivers, Denny Hamlin, he has the most wins at 5 here at Martinsville. We go NASCAR nonstop. You won't miss a thing. You're watching the NASCAR Cup Series playoff. Xfinity 500 from Martinsville Speedway. One organization coming into this race, and this round of 8 has 3 cars in it, the Penske organization. Right now, though, Parker, doesn't seem like they're running that well.
Well, Rick, the 12 there of Ryan Blaney seems to be picking it up a little bit, but I had an interesting conversation with Paul Wolf, who's a crew chief on the 22 for Zerlegano earlier today, about the setup they run these Team Penske cars at Martinsville. They've been very fast over the last couple of years. He said, you know, this is something that we hit on back when I worked with Brad in 2015 and 2016, and we've just evolved it over the years. He said, really, all 3 cars run almost the exact same setup. So I wonder, when you see the 12 struggling so early on, and Steve, I want to throw this at you, and then you see the 22 start struggling, and now the 12 is picking up. We know these crew chiefs and teams have communication between each other on the box. What are you asking, if you're Paul Wolf, to Todd Gordon? Hey, what are you changing? What are you asking him about how to make that 22 better, seeing that 12 suddenly start to be faster?
Well, absolutely. When you talk about organizations and the information being shared, I would always look at tire pressure. Are they where I am? What adjustments have they made? What are they trying to fix? Because even if the setups are the same, we just heard about all the different ways you can drive this racetrack from Jeff and Dale. So, you know, maybe even go in the SMT data and look at how the driver is driving it, because perhaps it's not an adjustment. Maybe the car is improving because the driver's adapting and finding a new way to drive it for the track conditions today. So that's all the reams of information that the crew chiefs have in front of them. Marty.
And maybe the racetrack is changing as well. That's what they're thinking here in the 2 camp. Brad Kozlowski saying right now too loose on entry. He's also lost his drive off, but he's turning some pretty decent lap times now, trying to get around Kyle Busch for the 8th position. It just takes 50 laps for the car to come in. That's way too long for the car to kind of activate the way you want it, Steve.
Well, you have to be able to fire off is the problem. You know, short run speed. Everybody talks about long runs, and it's great to say, oh, after 50 laps, my car drives great, but you normally lose so much time in so many positions, you just can't make it up. Stage racing has really changed the focus. I think you have to be more focused on the short run than ever, which is funny because when I think of Team Penske, they are normally short run cars at all of the short tracks.
Up the racetrack he goes. Kyle Busch seeing that opportunity, close the gap. But Brad Keselowski stays up in front of him.
Kyle's lost a few spots in his last few laps. And Truex running 4th, Kyle running 9th now, giving some points away to his teammate.
See the 9 of Chase Elliott on the back stretch, and the gap between Elliott's and Alex Bowman closing as they come up on 1 to go in stage 2.
Chase here just trying to get through this traffic, take care of the car, keep the fenders on it. I don't think he's going to have any problems from the 48 car.
This is going to be the 4th time that Chase has swept the first 2 stages in a race, but only 1 of those 4 has he gone on to win. So it's Chase Elliott winning stage 2 here at Martinsville. Alex Bowman, William Byron, the 1-2-3 sweep of stage 2 for Hendrick Motorsports and Martin Truex Jr. Denny Hamlin. And with that, Chase Elliott now has locked himself in to the championship 4. So 2 drivers have been determined. Chase Elliott with points, and the 5 of Kyle Larson with his 2 wins already in this round. Chase Elliott now has an opportunity to defend that championship. He won a year ago. He has enough points. He has advanced to the championship 4 and has won stage 1 and 2 here at Martinsville. We saw Travis Pastrana here earlier. The Nitro Rallycross has 3 rounds remaining, and Kyle Busch is going to be racing in one of those rounds. What an incredible setting. Travis Pastrana designing the courses. And again, as I mentioned, 3 rounds remaining. You see Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park, Phoenix, Arizona. That's where Kyle Busch will be racing against the likes of Travis Pastrana, Scott Speed, Tanner Faust. So much fun, and it was great talking with Travis earlier here in the booth. He came up and chatted with us too. Such an exciting character there. Dylan.
Denny Hamlin got to 5th at the end of that stage. Crew Chief Chris Gabehart said, get your left front on the sign. You've been a little bit too far into the box. Happy with the race car. Exit is improved, just needs to turn a little better. 4 tires and fuel for the 11, Dave.
15 total stage points earned for Martin Truex today. Will it be enough short of a win? A little bit tighter that run, Marty.
Alan Gustafson confirmed to Chase Elliott, we are locked in, so let's go race and have some fun. Chase said, by the way, the car, when I push it, I can make it loose on exit, so I've been trying to be a little more conservative. Brad Keselowski said we made the car better on exit, but still lost rear grip on entry. Chase Elliott and his team hold the lead here on pit road.
Elliott and Bowman hold their positions, and Hamlin and Almirola, their crew, gaining a couple spots.
We've tried to win here so many years. I've wanted to win here so bad. This place is so special to me.
Checkered flag and his first Martinsville win. Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes it over Jeff Gordon.
I wanted that grandfather clock ever since I was a little boy, and I got it today. My team, we all came together. I couldn't be prouder. We're going to drink a lot of beer tonight. That's what's going to happen.
Set the clock to celebration. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins at Martinsville.
And Steve, obviously being a part of that very special moment for Junior, giving him that opportunity as the crew chief on that team.
Well, this place is every crew chief's dream. You grow up at Saturday night tracks all across the country, and it's not about aerodynamics and horsepower. It's about making a car handle, and that's what Martinsville is all about. And it was a great time. It was a special win, and I can confirm that Dale Jr. does not make a challenge about how many beers you're going to drink without following through with that challenge. It was a late night, Junior, but we had a great time. That was a special win, a lot of fun.
Yeah, I grew up in a house that had a lot of those grandfather clocks in it, so I always wanted to get that trophy. And it's no different than every grandfather clock that you can go buy down the street, but you can only get that one here at this place. And by winning a race here, it really is a unique trophy. And you know, short track racing is fun too, beating and banging.
It's awesome. And who's not having fun is Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch got busted for speeding. Seen a lot of speed penalties today. The latest one, Kyle Busch, got to go to the back.
Chase Elliott on the outside. Alex Bowman on the inside once again. Hendrick teammates diving into turn number 1. Almirola right here in row 2, though, adding some pressure. Elliott able to clear the 48 as he goes into 3. Almirola a little sideways there as he went through 3 and 4, losing a little bit of ground, and now the 11 of Denny Hamlin adding pressure to the inside.
You said it a minute ago, Steve. Look up, and here's the 11 car. Remember, started dead last, had a speeding penalty on top of that, and here he is in 3rd spot.
And you have to imagine that the Hendrick teammates all have that information that their teammate Chase Elliott is locked in. That kind of changes the way that they get to run the rest of this race and how aggressive they can be in and around that 9 car. They have fast race cars. They can go get themselves the clock today. Now with their teammate locked in, they can try to do it, but gonna have to contend with this 11 car. He drives right by the 48 there for 2nd place.
Those Hendrick teammates, they've been up front all day.
Oh, we got
big
smoke
trouble
coming out of Justin Haley's car. And so Haley, looks like the engine has expired. Still no caution has come out. Oh, maybe it's just left rear tire.
Yeah, the smoke's coming out the pipes. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Big damage on the left rear. Big rub on the left rear tire for the 77 of Haley.
So who has the right side damage?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he didn't run the left side into the wall.
No.
That definitely hit another car somewhere.
And good job by NASCAR, not trigger happy on the caution flag there and allowing this race to continue to run. I too thought there was an engine issue or some sort of drivetrain failure there.
So Haley off the racetrack, and he'll be running full-time in the Cup Series next year.
You see the 47 car, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. underneath Joey Logano. They just made contact. You see a lot of damage on the left rear quarter panel with the 22 car.
How about the 14 of Chase Briscoe? This track usually chews up inexperienced drivers, rookie drivers. The 14, he's had some moments out there today, but here he is on the lead lap, trying to run all the laps, pushing and shoving with Logano and those guys, doing a nice job.
See what Logano is doing right there? He did not give the 14 any room. He put Chase Briscoe right against the curb. He did that because that made Chase Briscoe turn the steering wheel a lot harder. And it's hard to get your car to leave the corner like that, Parker.
Right, and held him off, but Joey Logano continues to struggle. That 22 car, they were basically the last car in the lead lap, so Paul Wolf elected to have a very long stop under the latest caution. They actually put a packer in the left front to try and get that splitter off the ground and help that center turn, the 22, while keeping that drive off on exit, but just continuing to struggle and not being able to find the speed here, Dave.
Chase Briscoe's problem in the 14 car on the start of the day was that he started 22nd and didn't go very far, got passed by the leader, got a lap down, got the free pass back a couple of cautions ago. He was told, make sure you don't speed and blow that. He didn't, and the 14 has gotten better all day. They've been working on it.
77 of Justin Haley back to pit road with still more repairs needed on this car. A lot of damage to that left rear quarter panel and not able to get that tire rub remedied just yet.
We mentioned how playoff drivers race against non-playoff drivers. Well, the top 10 is scattered with both. You have Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, both playoff drivers with Alex Bowman, William Byron, and Eric Almirola all in the top 5. Then Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, and then it's Christopher Bell and Kurt Busch, non-playoff drivers running in the 8th and 9th position. Brad Keselowski rounding out the top 10.
So this is interesting. The 11 car fired off really quick, got around the 48 now. As we run a few more laps, 48 cars come to life. Denny, I think, is going to probably allow him to go ahead and have that position back, but the 24 Byron's going to want that position as well.
That 48 car right there, Dale, very impressive how it just rolls right around the curb. I mean, it is right around the bottom. Normally a little bit into a run like this, 13 laps, you start to see a little tightness. I think that's what the 11's fighting, but these other two Hendrick cars, both the 48 and the 24, can stay connected to that curb all the way around the corner.
Steve, what is it about this racetrack that Hendrick has been so good? What did you guys figure out over there?
I really believe that it started with Jeff Gordon's success here, and he then allowed the organization to build good cars and have good direction because he understood what he needed. So that kind of helped us find success here. And then, you know, the awful situation with the plane crash, this place became more than just a regular race to Hendrick Motorsports. This really is treated like the Daytona 500. As long as I worked there, for 20 years, we had brand new Martinsville cars, not just any car, brand new Martinsville cars being built every single year. The amount of effort and focus that went into this racetrack was exorbitant, and it was what the owner wanted, and we all knew that as crew chiefs and engineers and drivers. And I think from there, you know, you got to remember, Hendrick Motorsports kind of was created here.
Yeah, Rick's home track, really.
Yeah, and Jeff Bodine's win is what kept the doors open. There's just a lot of history here, and you know it's important. So when you work there, what you give a guy that seems to have everything is the trophy he wants, and Rick Hendrick likes to grandfather clocks.
Well, Hendrick has led all. Oh, sorry, he's got a car in the wall. Bubba Wallace in the wall in the middle of 3 and 4. He's gotten back off the wall underway.
Yeah, Bubba and Eric Jones were trading a lot of paint over the last couple of laps, and Eric Jones got a little fed up with that 23 car and sent him down into turn 3 up the racetrack. No contact with the wall. Was able to avoid that, but I'm sure Bubba's not pleased.
A racetrack where payback often happens, and maybe not only from this race, but maybe from a race previous.
See, he just got shipped out into the corner. Did a nice job. And then, Steve, you were talking about Hendrick Motorsports and how good they are. Here's why. The second half of the corner, Alex Bowman able to just put the left side tires on that curb while accelerating, was able to get underneath Denny Hamlin. It looks easy to do, but that is the most difficult thing about Martinsville, is to be able to roll the center and also stay on the bottom with full throttle. Here's the damage from the 77. See the left rear tire rub. Not sure who got into him there, but clearly a big rub.
Chase Elliott still out front. He has led 207 laps already to 11 to go. Let's take a look at the Toyota driver update. We'll focus in on the 18 of Kyle Busch. And again, a speeding penalty sent him to the back. When he came into this race, he was above the cut line to make that championship 4. Now he is below it, 18 points. Now behind Martin Truex Jr., who has the final spot. There will be 2 positions gained by points, guaranteed in this race, potentially 3. but we know for sure 2 will be by points. And right now it's Denny Hamlin who has 41 points above the cut line, and Martin Truex Jr. 14 above the cut line.
One guy having a pretty good run today, non-playoff driver Chris Buescher in that 17 car, chasing down his future team owner Brad Keselowski for 11th position. Chris has been in the top 15 3 of the last 4 here at Martinsville, so not surprised by the run they're having today, but quietly putting together a great showing. I bet Brad, when he saw the 12 go by, he started asking his crew chief, what are the changes that they're making to that car that made the gains he's made? What can we do to try to do the same thing to my car to get speed back in this 2 car so he can move forward and improve the performance?
The 2 was pretty good early in the race, and they've started to fall backwards. He's fallen all the way back to 11th. His teammate Ryan Blaney really struggled in a big way, but there you see Ryan Blaney in front of Brad Keselowski now. He's in 9th place, and he has enough pace to run top 5 right now. Not as fast as the Hendrick cars, but good enough pace, so major improvements on that car.
But the problem is that Blaney missed playoff points in stage 1 and stage 2, and that's why now is a must-win situation. Had he had this speed earlier and gained enough points, he would still be able to point his way in possibly, but now it's a must-win. He's got to drive through these guys, somehow come out of here with a win to be able to advance into Phoenix.
Yeah, this race probably the most pivotal, is the most pivotal as far as a championship goes. You have to make it into the championship 4, and it all comes down to this race right here. Let's go through the field. We'll focus in on the playoff drivers. We'll start with Marty.
Boy, Rick, Chase Elliott making it look easy today. 221 laps led. He just clicks off that number right now, in the lead obviously right now. He won 3 of the 4 elimination races last year, including this one. It put him in the championship 4. Well, he's already in the championship 4 now, but would love to tack on another win here at Martinsville, Dylan.
Chris Gabehart reminded Denny Hamlin, who has slid back to 4th, that this part of the run all day has been the strong suit for Hendrick. So cars starting to come back around here as the laps click off for Denny. Said it fired off a little loose in on this run, then it got tight in the center, but it's coming back to him now. Expect to see the 11 start to march a little bit more further forward, Dave.
The winner of this race in April, at this track in April, his points position right now is good. He's to the positive side, but he's got some drive-off envy.
Whatever it is, they all got it. Turn it better than me in the rubber, and get power down better also. I can drive in so deep. If I do that, I just get loose. Yep, copy. Just focus on what you're good at.
That's Martin talking about the Hendrick Motorsports cars. He's tired of getting passed by him, Marty.
Hey, Dave, we've talked all day long that this is a learning session for Kyle Larson, who admits Martinsville not his best track. To prove that, this is what every run sounds like from Cliff Daniels. Listen.
Entry speed is great. Exit speed looks good. You're taking care of the rears like you need to. Make sure you don't overrun the fronts in the center, and you look really good. Take a minute while you are running them down to let the stuff cool off a little bit in terms of just overall abuse on the fronts and the rears on the exit.
So even a driver who's won 9 times this year, learning as he goes along. He's led 77 laps today and pretty much kept it in the top 10 all day long. Ryan Blaney back in the 9th position. Yes, they have made the car drastically better. In fact, Blaney's been popping into the top 5 quick lap times. And give credit to Todd Gordon. Man, they were out to lunch in stage 1. Stage 2, they have made adjustments on this race car, put Blaney back in the game. To the point you made it a moment ago, though, guys, he knows they have to win if they want to be able to advance to the championship 4. And Brad Keselowski sitting in 11th, still struggling with that loose on entry condition, and the battle for the lead shaping up, guys, between teammates here.
Yeah, here comes Alex Bowman in the 48. He has definitely put the pressure on the 9 of Chase Elliott now.
Oh, they're spinning in front of him.
The caution comes out, and up the racetrack with the 52, so Josh Bilicki brings the caution out.
He and Corey LaJoy had some contact. I believe it was Corey.
52.
34 got into 7.
There's some damage to the 7 car. And there's some contact from behind. So watch the 34 car, Michael Liddell, get down to the corner. Michael thinks that he's going to go to the inside of the 7 here of Corey LaJoy. Little contact with Corey sends him up the track into the 52 of Bilicki. Bilicki contact with the outside wall. Heavy damage to the rear clip of that car. 17 will have to work on that tire rub on the left rear and damage to that car as well. So tough day for all these guys trying to make laps here running around the back half of the field.
That's what makes this place just so difficult. You know, we talked about how exhausting it is running up front because there's always cars. Well, it's exhausting for everyone. You know, even a car that's off the pace, you just can't really get out of the way. There's not a lot of space to go.
It's a crucial pit stop coming up here for Keselowski. We've seen Blaney's been able to make his car better. Can Keselowski make the changes that he needs? Zagano, can he make the changes he needs to get better?
Austin Dillon in the 3 car gets the free pass, so he will be back on the lead lap. That'll put 21 on the lead lap, Dillon.
Balance was coming back to Denny Hamlin the longer the run went, but said he lost on throttle security was the biggest thing. So not expecting a ton of changes. They've been pretty minimal so far today. 4 tires and fuel for the 11 days.
Confusing thing for Martin Truex is that the car's been a little bit different in its ill-handling ways the last 2 runs. Slight adjustment here to try to balance it, Marty.
The lead was under threat from his teammate, so Chase Elliott saying, we lost a little bit of rear drive, but to be honest, the car kind of drove the way I wanted it to, so they decided to make no changes here on the 9 car. Meanwhile, for his teammate Kyle Larson said he got tighter the longer he ran. They're going to try and fix that center of the corner for Kyle Larson. Chase Elliott and his team easily win the race off pit road, though.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin stepping it up once again. His team gains 2 spots on pit road, so it'll be Elliott and Hamlin. It'll be 1 and 2 as we get ready for the restart after this incident. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Visit gocreditone.com. Ram Trucks, the only truck brand to win Motor Trend Truck of the Year 3 years in a row. And by Xfinity. Do more of what you love with faster internet. Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR. And Rod, you have to be enjoying this beautiful afternoon here in Martinsville.
Oh, Rick, it's incredible. I know there's tons of families out there getting ready to go trick-or-treating with their kids. I know I've got a nurse, an M&M, and a cheerleader at home. And as I'm up here, we saw that Halloween-themed paint scheme Josh Bilicki's car go around. It made me think, Dale Jr., what's the best Halloween costume you've ever had?
Well, I always wanted to be a football player when I was a little boy, so I had this football generic, no number, red jersey. They had the pants, the pads, the shoulder pads, helmet and everything, old plastic helmet with the 2-bar. And I wore that thing like 4 years in a row. It was awesome, man. Everybody's like, man, you want to be something different? I'm like, no, football player.
Gene Simmons, Kiss, that was me, man.
Nope.
Really?
Oh, my God.
That really has
I need to see pictures of this.
They are there somewhere.
Steve, what about you? You remember?
No.
Mine was Evel Knievel. I went as Evel Knievel once. I loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
Listen, I grew up in Maine. There wasn't a lot of trick-or-treating. It was kind of rural where I was from. You just
I don't believe
Walk
it.
next door.
I don't believe it.
You just had a big old jacket on.
He doesn't want to tell us.
I don't remember. That's awful.
No.
Oh, watch the hand. Watch the hand.
Yeah, it's not having fun on Halloween. Bubba Wallace got caught for speeding right there. The latest one to get a speeding ticket.
The latest victim of pit road.
Yeah, the Martinsville Speed Trap busy today. Every time everyone comes down pit road, somebody gets caught.
So 2x2 once again. We mentioned Denny Hamlin and his team was able to gain a spot or two on pit road, and so that puts him on the outside of row 1. Cannot wait for a week from this weekend, and it's going to be a busy one. You've got Cup Series practice. That's right, practice for the Cup Series. That'll be on NBCSN at 4 o'clock on Friday. Xfinity Series practice also. And then Saturday, Xfinity Series qualifying at 5:30, Cup Series qualifying at 7. That'll be on CNBC. And then Saturday, countdown to green, 8 o'clock on NBCSN, and the championship. Who will be the champion of the Xfinity Series? Can Austin Cindric repeat as a champion? Or will it be a new first-time champion in the Xfinity Series? And then on Sunday, countdown to green, and we'll see if Kyle Larson can finish out this amazing season that he has already put together. 9 wins. He's locked in, but he's got Chase Elliott also locked into that championship 4, and still 2 spots to be determined here at Martinsville.
The things we took for granted for so long. I'm jonesing to see some practice. We just haven't seen any practice. We saw qualifying back in Nashville, but we haven't seen a lot of practice qualifying weekends. So I'm excited to see a full weekend of cars on the racetrack, and I really think that sets up great for this championship weekend because it really starts in that first practice. If you can go out there and you can prove that you have the speed, that you then become the favorite, the mind games, the pressure, everything start to build for the whole weekend.
And what drivers are ready to go back qualifying? It's a mindset change to go get in that car and just go make fast laps. We'll have a bearing on who can win this championship. Marty.
Hey, Jeff, as they come green here real quick, notice not 2 Hendrick Motorsports cars on the front row. For the first time today, Chase Elliott's going to have to race for it. How will this restart go with Hamlin?
And Hamlin has a problem.
I think he might have missed a shift right there. Everyone really lucky right there to get away without much damage.
And Denny Hamlin damaged his engine in missing that shift so many times you can over-rev it.
Here, I don't see any smoke. Yeah, 10-4.
Oh, the 24, Byron, really squeezed Christopher Bell right there. Christopher really cut him a break. Back underneath him off of turn 2. Tricks on the inside of his teammate. A lot of races here as these guys trying to get these positions while everybody's bunched up after a restart. Let's watch a replay on this issue with Denny. So takes off, the car doesn't go. Everybody does such a good job here. Usually we see a lot of accordion effects, and even the guys like 5-6 rows back knock the radiator out of the car. Oh, sounded like it was not going into gear very well there. A lot of grinding and carrying on.
That makes me concerned for the next restart.
Me too, yeah.
Oh, caution.
And there's going to be another one. The 0-0 Quinn Houff went around.
So so much give and take during that sequence of events right there, Jeff. I know that's not going to be the case late in this race, but a lot of guys are letting each other in line, really cutting each other break on corner entry. Impressed by that. Didn't expect to see that today.
So if you're Denny Hamlin, what do you do as we're seeing once again the 52 now, Josh Bilicki back around, going the right direction. If you're Denny Hamlin, do you practice that? I mean, while we're under caution to try to make sure that you don't have an issue with that transmission?
Well, you'll be shifting it to make sure that it shifts, but when you do get going again, you just have to be deliberate. Almost slow down a little bit when you make that shift. Just make sure you get in gear. Here's what happened a few laps ago.
Oh, Bilicki got loose into the corner. They got some issues with that car since he crashed, and he lost the back end getting in the corner. Takes the 0-0 up the racetrack, and the 0-0 obviously frustrated. And under caution, shows his frustration to Bilicki. Bilicki with all that damage. You know, the track bar, everything's all bent and moved around on that rear clip, and that car's not going to drive the way it is, and went down in there and took out a took out a guy who's just trying to get through this race without any damage.
Quinn Half was not happy. You guys got a break right there. Ross Chastain, Matt DiBenedetto, Alfredo, they all stayed out. They didn't pit that time, so took the wave around and gained a lap. So now they're only 1 lap down.
The 00 car is going to be held by NASCAR for 5 laps, we're being told, for spinning out that Bilicki car under caution. Pretty excessive rule or penalty for that right there. Well, we've seen, you know, NASCAR do that here at this very racetrack before.
Yeah, they get really sensitive under yellow when there's safety trucks out there for sure.
Yeah, so that's the difference, Steve, when we talk to the fans about, you know, why we see the penalties sort of fluctuate a little bit. When there's a pace truck on the track, it's a little bit more dangerous to be doing things like that.
And this is why that 5-lap penalty. You could be headed on a VIP trip to the 2022 Daytona 500. Visit NASCAR.com/Daytona 500 and enter last chance for your opportunity to win. Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Daytona 500 winners here in this opportunity to get into the championship 4. It's NASCAR Cup Series playoffs from Martinsville, the Xfinity 500. As they run, Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin, they hold the 2 spots based on points that have not locked themselves in. It's Hamlin and Truex Jr., Kyle Busch 18 points behind.
And Rick, one thing these cautions do is they put more cars back on the lead lap, and that is a concern for these guys when you look at points, right? You look at Truex, you go, oh man, 18 points, he's fine. Well, he's in the 4th position. Well, the more cars get put back in the lead lap, the more literally you can see the white flag have an issue and lose 18 points in 1 lap, right? If we're down to 15 cars in the lead lap, you finally get to a safe point in the race. But with a ton of cars in the lead lap, Parker, you will not be safe until the checkered flag.
And if you saw there under the caution and under the break there, the 22 pitted just to put 4 tires and sort of throw a Hail Mary here for this 22. Paul Wolf and Joe Logano have had put tons of adjustment in this 22, trying to get it going forward, so that they were at the back of the lead lap, decided to put some tires on here and see if this maybe can give them a little leg up on the cars in front of them.
Again, coming in, it's a must-win situation.
Yeah, you got to try something, because now, so here, I don't think they're thinking these fresh tires are going to drive to the field, but what if we run 15 and get a caution? Well, now maybe he can stay out. You know, you just got to keep swinging. You just can't just accept it, right? Not with 172 to go.
Curious about this transmission on the 11 car.
Starts in the 2nd row on the outside once again. That time, no problem shifting. Trying to clear the 48, but Alex Bowman fighting him on the inside. now. Chase Elliott clears that 48. And the 11 of Denny Hamlin trying that outside line as well.
We saw Denny Hamlin had a little more pace in the 48 on the early part of the run. Looks like he's right on the back bumper here trying to attack for second place. We'll see if the 48 teams help the car a little bit on the short run here. Slides the back a little bit right there. Denny comes right to him.
So hard to pass here. You can see why. As long as 48 car of Alex Bowman, as long as he can put his left sides on that curb and leave on the curb, how do you pass? How do you get underneath him? And he knows that. He knows if he can just stay low, even if he doesn't have to go quite as fast to the center of the corner, but can leave on corner exit, he will be really difficult to pass.
It looks like they've improved the 48 car here in the short run. Looking at the 12 car of Ryan Blaney here, maybe a possible tire rub there. You see it?
Yeah.
He and Kevin Harvick were side in the wall right there.
So now the right side and the left side could be rubbing.
Got a left rear tire rub. Just at 18, you're clear by 1 behind him. Clear by 1, clear by half.
You hear the spotter talking. You get a little concerned about where that tire rub is as the beating, the banging continues.
Yeah, he is getting all kinds of used up out there as he struggles with his race car. Looked like at one point just before this caution they had things turned around on the balance of the car. Now again finds himself under attack with all these guys putting pressure on him. He's moving the car back and forth, trying to hope that maybe the deflection in the tire might beat and move that rub, that fender away. Smart move. Marty.
Yeah, it wasn't 10 laps ago where on this restart, Ryan Blaney was sitting in 10th. Now he's back in 15th. So, Jeff, when you have a tire rub like this, which Ryan has said nothing about, what do? I think it's pretty creative if that is indeed what he's doing, trying to knock that fender out by moving the car back and forth.
That's all you can do, that and hope. You know, hope that you don't get a big rub and have to pit or cut the tire, obviously. But I think the bigger concern, honestly, is just the pace. I mean, they had good pace a little while ago, but now it's all gone, it appears.
You literally see him inside the car throwing his hands up in the air with frustration as the car continues to struggle and guys are getting up underneath him off each corner. Dave.
Saw Bubba Wallace go by him. Dave.
You all noticed the 18 car a couple of cautions ago spending extended time on pit road. Where are they going now, you asked during break? And
we got a car in the wall, the back straightaway, the 6 car, Ryan Newman, heavy contact with the right front.
And the 42 now straight in the wall into turn 3. Seems like he has a right front flat. I'm guessing those two are connected. Oh, yeah, they're connected now.
They got connected.
Oh,
and so the caution.
Let's see what
Chastain done either.
Yeah.
Definitely damage on the right front.
Right front tire down for the 42.
I looked up and seen a lot of cars over there struggling to get off that corner and a lot of contact. So here it is. Right there at the bottom of the screen, little 3 wide 41. Car had his nose in there and it turned the 6. He comes down into the 42, comes down into the 41. Ryan Newman has had a very difficult day today.
Yeah, I don't think Chastain understood what happened there, right? Chastain didn't understand that somebody got into Newman and that turned him down into him.
Yeah, Newman's like, man, don't be mad at me. I didn't have anything to do with that one.
No matter how it turns out, picking a fight with Ryan Newman might not be in your best interest. So you won't forget.
Ryan Newman still looking for a ride for 2022 as they go to work on Ross Chastain in the 42.
This is that caution I talked about. As all the leaders come to pit road, the 22 of Joey Logano is going to stay on the racetrack. Just like that, he's going to be the race leader.
Dylan.
Denny Hamlin said car was a little better on that quick 13-lap run. Pit crew has been money today. They've gotten him 2 spots on each of the last 2 stops. Routine service, 4 tires and fuel for Hamlin. Dave.
James Small, the crew chief, said we're in our window now. Martin Truex, bring it to us. 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Marty.
Interesting from Chase Elliott, who's really dominated the second half of this race, said the car was lazier on the front end than it's been all day long, and he had to crank the wheel more than he's had to do all day long as well. Temperatures certainly starting getting a little bit cooler. Everyone right on the edge of their fuel window to make it to the end. Larson still a little bit tight. Meanwhile, Blaney trying to get all that damage fixed. He said, I don't know what damage I have, but it really changed this race car.
Elliott wins the race off of pit road, and it was the 6 and 42 who brought out the most recent caution. This one, the 8th caution of the day here at Martinsville. Let's check out the Cup Series playoff standings brought to you by Xfinity. Again, Larson with his 2 wins advances to the championship 4 next week in Phoenix. Chase Elliott has enough points now that he has advanced to the championship 4. The fight's still on for the final 2 spots. Joey Logano leading the race now because of pit strategy. He's above the cut line. Denny Hamlin, the final 1 on points.
You see how that definitely turns the stress up to everyone else with a new leader like Joey Logano. Came in that most precarious position. I don't want to call it a must-win because Math said he could get there. It's definitely a must-win now after the 2 stages have run. They pitted last cautions. They have 10 laps on their tires. I don't think that's going to hurt the 22, but we're getting ready to see what kind of car he has. If he can hold it on.
Here, but no worries. We're locked in. Go race hard. Copy that. We are locked. Yep, we are locked.
Oh, Chase Elliott likes to hear that. Green light, locked in.
He knows. 22 on the inside, 9 on the outside. Great restart for the 22 of Logano. Now Elliott fighting back on the outside. Here comes the 48 of Bowman once again.
Talked about the struggle with Logano all day long. Well, this is the first time he can drive his car wherever he wants it. All day he's been in traffic. He's had to compromise what he's been able to do with his car. Now with clean air, he can do what he wants.
I was wondering if the 9 hit a left front tire up. It was hard to see, but it looked like a little smoke. Maybe it was just brake smoke. It seems to be okay. That last set of corners, the 20 of Christopher Bell, stuck on the outside right here, trying to find a spot to get down.
Truex jumped into that opening. As Chase Elliott maybe a little more aggressive running in that second spot. Marty?
Hey, Rick, I found the comments from Chase Elliott interesting. Steve, I'd love for you to unpack that a little bit as he tries to get the lead on the high side from Joey Logano. He said, listen, I've had to turn the wheel way more that run than I had all day long. Chase has not complained one time today about his race car. It is starting to cool down, so how much does the weather here at Martinsville play a factor with the handling, and how much will that change, Steve, in the 151 laps that are left?
Well, the track here changes dramatically over the course of the day as tire rubber goes down. Now it's going to cool, and the other thing that's going to happen is, are we going to have a sprint to the finish or a 150 lap run to the finish? And I say that because, you know, what are you setting your car up for? I mean, right now, all of these guys are within their fuel windows. To see Chase Elliott finally get to the bottom, Joey Logano, he's going to retake the lead. I assume this pass is going to be relatively easy for Chase now that he's in position. They can all make it on fuel, so feasibly this could go all the way to the end, and That's a lot of time on those rear tires.
Logano has to win the race if he wants to advance to the championship 4. And if you look at the points, he's at the bottom of the list now, 33 points back when he's not leading this race, and that puts Hamlin and Truex Jr. back up into the top 4, those championship 4 positions.
And you see it as all these guys are trying to fight to get around this 22. It's really creating a lot of issues for everybody on back through that line. Somebody's going to root up Christopher Bell out of the bottom groove. He's going to try to fight his way back into the line in front of the 10 car, and then I mean all this happening behind him. A lot of accordion effect. No one wants to lose a position.
The 19 behind the 5 car. Looks like there's steam coming out of the cowl to me. Maybe it's running warm. There it is. Oh. So the water coming out of the 19 car saying it's overheating. I mean, you don't see any grill damage or any trash on the grill. He's obviously
He said that was from before, but he said that so there was some contact out there, but the radiator fan's been on all day. We'll keep an eye on this.
Well, the radiator fan works under yellow, but at speed, the radiator fan can't move as much air as you can actually get just running around other cars. So we'll have to keep an eye on this 19 to see if it can cool off.
Not going to cool off right there behind the 22 like that. He's going to have to get over here and get down inside, make a pass. He's going to have to force this pass to try to get the grill opening into some clean air. Look at that. Look how aggressive he is here. And that's only because he knows he can be trapped behind this car and allow his to overheat.
Steam looks like it stopped. I'm going to hope that means it cooled off, and not that it's out of water. We didn't see it for very long. So I assume that means the temperature back under control for the 19 car.
Yeah, sometimes, Steve, the temperature can actually go up at a racetrack like this where you're not going fast under caution.
We're pushing water.
Yeah, right there you can hear him say we're pushing water. But I think that I don't see it right now.
They quit pushing water,
okay,
Jeff.
quit pushing water. That's great. So, Steve, what I was saying is...
Oh, we got a spin off of 4. Cole Custer goes around. Innocent little spin there. No contact with anyone else that I saw.
And the 9th caution of the day has come out.
So now if you're Martin Truex Jr., do you cycle the engine, Steve, try to bring those temperatures down even further under this yellow?
That's absolutely it. So basically you shut the engine off, let it coast, which you can't do very far here, then start it back up and just cycle the water and cycle the engine and try to cool it off, because to Jeff's point, much like the alternator and charging issue reported on the 9 way back at the beginning of the day, these slow pace car speeds, they just don't do much. That's good for the car. The car runs warm. It's not good for the alternator. So that's what he's doing right there. You just heard it, Junior, right? Engine shut off, then try to cycle it and see if it would cool. Let's listen into the 19.
Trying to cool it off all day. Yeah, I know that. I wish I knew your fan was on before and we could have. We've been trying to pull tape. It hasn't been coming off. But when it was minus 15 before, we didn't attempt it again. So anyway, we'll be fine.
So some communication, maybe even a little miscommunication about where they were running, whether the fan was being used. You heard James Small said, listen, we've been trying to remove tape. We've had a struggle with that. Here's a look at the spin. As you mentioned it, if there's ever easy spin, that was kind of a nice slow spin here. Oh, across the nose of the 3.
Yeah, the 3 without any right front fender. So you have to hope that not too much damage to that car there.
And back to the point about points, that puts another car on the lead lap. 23 now, Rick.
Martin Truex Jr. still inside the championship 4.
back at Martinsville Speedway under caution with 139 laps to go. Denny Hamlin was inside the top 5. He's back to 8th now after a problem on the most recent pit stop where Denny said he couldn't feel the car come off the jack, and you can hear him talk about it on the radio.
I couldn't tell when I was on the jack and when I wasn't. Yeah, it just didn't feel a drop. It feels like he just eased it down.
So it was kind of a slow, easy drop, as he explained, and he waited. He hesitated before he left the box because he wasn't sure if he was off the jack or not. Cost him 5 or 6 spots, and now Denny's restarting 8th.
Yeah, so when the jack falls, it's pretty violent. I mean, it actually almost hurts sometimes. And when you set it down slowly, you're like, what's going on? Maybe they don't want me to lead right now. The cue for the driver is the jack. That is the cue. When it falls, you roll.
And amazingly enough, lost 4 or 5 spots because of that. Maybe a second on pit road as Chase Elliott on that outside line easily clears the 48 going into turn number 1. But battling back is Alex Bowman. He'll stay in second. Martin Truex Jr. is third. Kyle Larson fourth. Logano has dropped back to 5th now. He's fighting for that spot with William Byron. Here comes Denny Hamlin once again. He looks to the inside of Logano.
Logano not giving him too much room, man. And you don't want to make contact and get in the door of that car. You can't get in the throttle when you're running in the side of somebody if you're Denny Hamlin. Look how tight that 22 runs him off the corner. It's so frustrating if you're on the inside.
Joey doesn't have a lot to lose, and Denny does. Joey's actually giving him a fair amount of room right there.
On entry. Almost daring him, though, to hit him on the corner exit. Trying to chop and make it more difficult for Denny to get in the gas, but Denny's going to make the pass.
Parker.
And guys, that's kind of been the story of Joe Logano's day, being forced to the outside and trying to fit himself back in the inside lane. What a call by Paul Wolfe there earlier to take those tires, being the last car in the lead lap that allowed them to stay out and get some of that track position. But think about this. Look at the adjustments they had made on this 22 car over the course of the race. 6 rounds of wedge, 4 rounds of the track bar, and left front packer adjustments into the car, which took a while when they were at the back of the pack. They have thrown everything but the kitchen sink at this 22, even got in track position here, but it just does not look like they maybe have the speed to stay up. Remember, on a little bit of disadvantage tire-wise, trying to hold on here to this track position. We'll see if it comes their way, but they definitely need some fortune to come their way too.
A little contact there between the 2 and the 20 as Keselowski got into the left rear quarter panel of Bell.
Talk a lot about the trophy here being the grandfather clock. Well, time is running out on guys like Brad Keselowski, and you can see it, right? 132 laps to go. A pass that perhaps could have been completely clean 5, 10, 15 laps into this race, maybe 15 laps into the second stage. Now, I don't have time to mess with you. So if I'm inside you, I feel like I'm going to go by. I'm okay if I bump you a little bit. I just can't waste the time working on these passes.
Trying to get by the 18. We'll see how long it takes here.
So right here, this battle, Brad Kay, we know what he's been dealing with all day. Started out well, now struggling, racing with Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch currently 10 points behind teammate Martin Truex Jr. Dave.
When I talked to crew chief Ben Bayshore about preparation with Kyle Busch this week as Brad Keselowski looks to the inside, he said we did a deep dive into Kyle's history at this track and what, quote, rang the bell for speed. So you've heard all the adjustments Ben's tried all day as they lose the position here. They've tried so many things, but it's a result of what he thought he could do for Kyle. They may have to ring the bell one more time, Marty.
Boy, Dave, it seems like the 2 and the 18 have been locked side by side for the last 50 or 60 laps. At this point, Jeremy Boland's doing everything he can to try and put Brad Keselowski in a position to maybe flip things on the 19. That's what they're watching. So the next caution that might come out, you might see the 2 do the opposite of whatever the 19 does. They're doing anything they can. Right now, 14 points below the cut line, passing Kyle Busch helped a little bit.
And Marty, what needs to happen, or at least for the 18, the 2, or the 12, the 11 and the 19, they have to have a problem right now because there's not enough positions for the 18 of Kyle Busch to go up there and gain 11 spots because Kyle Busch right now is running 9th. There's not enough positions points-wise to gain those. So Truex has to have a problem. He's got to drop back so there's more points available. Let's listen in on Kyle Busch's radio.
I don't understand how I get beat in the corner and out turned and out accelerated. Rolling tight to center, losing stuff off.
Now the feedback of this is what I need the car to do different is turning into frustration, because much like Keselowski, Kyle Busch knows the laps are winding down and his opportunity in the playoffs starting to dwindle.
We're going to go NASCAR nonstop. You won't miss a thing. 125 to go for Martinsville. Caution comes out for Daniel Suarez spinning, and everyone on pit road. Dylan?
Denny Hamlin says he's pretty good, still needs some help in the center. He's tight there, Dave.
What a great opportunity for Martin Truex Jr. He was getting ready to have to come for a loose wheel. When this caution came out, they said, bring it. We'll make an adjustment as well, Marty.
Dave, as it gets cooler here at Martinsville, Chase Elliott gets more unhappy with his race car. He said it's definitely tighter. They're going to go back to where they were 2 runs ago, see if it makes a 9 car any better. Kyle Larson, meanwhile, said the last adjustment finally freed up his race car. Chase Elliott keeps the lead easily here on pit road. Larson lost a ton of spots.
Well, Chase Elliott keeps the first position off pit road, but it won't be the lead because we've had cars stay on the racetrack. We've had the 3 of Austin Dillon, the 8 of Tyler Reddick, and the 41 of Cole Custer, all lead lap cars that have stayed on the racetrack. Let's take a look at what happened in the 99 for the caution. Oh, Briscoe, little contact.
Yeah, the 99 was up the track a little bit in the middle of the corner, and Briscoe went in there and gets into left rear. Kyle Larson seems to have made a little bit of an error on pit road, speeding as he entered pit road.
Second time today for the 5-car speeding penalty.
I think every caution,
And
almost every caution we've had a speeding penalty.
And just about every lap of the racetrack, something similar to what we saw with the 99 cars happening in the back half of the field. The racing back there today has been rough. Me and Jeff been sitting here watching it throughout the day, and those guys are going to continue to beat on each other.
I saw Suarez in the 99 car. His car owner, Justin Marks, racing super late model tonight in Nashville 400. Dylan.
Back to the 5 of Kyle Larson quickly. He was shoving Denny Hamlin because Denny came on the radio and said, the 5 had my back end jacked up. I couldn't even tell what my RPMs were. So as they came around the bend here, you can see the replay of Larson pushing Hamlin around the corner. So it nearly messed up Hamlin's as well, but Larson unfortunately got the bad deal.
Was Kyle Larson trying to push Denny Hamlin into a speeding penalty there?
Well, you wonder, this is the second penalty for Larson, right? And he's pushing Denny Hamlin. So you wonder if the math's a little different in each car, right? Larson was pushing him because his tack was below where he thought it should be on his pit road speed. So that's why he was pushing Hamlin. Hamlin was going slower based on his tachometer.
Now with this caution, 24 cars in the lead lap, and as I mentioned, cars stay out. So as we come around to the choose, Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick, and the 41 of Custer will get to decide where they're going to restart. And this is going to really change the look at the front of this field.
On the control car, Austin took the outside, so he's going to expect his teammate Reddick to allow him to get in line on that inside. It's going to really box up all these guys with new tires behind them. A lot of chain reaction could happen getting down in the corner.
That's exactly what Truex wants. And that's the best case scenario for Truex in that 19 car, is for that 3 to roll to the bottom, because the 19's got new tires. He could roll the top and get the lead, Dave.
Crew Chief James Small confirmed to Martin it was a loose wheel right rear. Steve, those look like Halloween nightmare scuff marks to you?
Yeah, absolutely. You expect those to be perfectly round. You can see they're a little oblong with the wheel shook back and forth on the wheel stud. So damage on the wheel, obviously loose.
Fortunate caution coming out from Martin Truex Jr. as flagman Joey Aycock lets them know that they're back under green.
And this is a little bit of a gift, I think, for Truex and Hamlin. They have the fresher tires, and they're on the outside. They're going to be battling for the lead outside of the 3 while the Hendrick cars are trapped behind.
Yeah, Truex got exactly what he wanted right there.
As long as he can complete this pass on the outside of the 3 car, it's not going to be easy. Austin Dillon's not going to move out of the way. Just let him have it.
A little better tire on that 19 car.
For sure. Still, they put Austin in this position. They expect him, his team expects him to run as hard as he can to maintain this track position. He's fighting back on that inside. Truex going to clear him down the straightaway with the acceleration. Now Denny to the outside of the 3 car for second.
The great thing Denny's got, if he doesn't clear the 3, is there's room behind him. So Denny can attack right here. He can try to get by this 3, and if it doesn't work, there's a place for him to fall in behind Austin.
I think he's going to carry the momentum around the 3 right here on the corner exit. Impressive move by both the 19 and the 11.
And behind him, you see Joey Logano using the 8 car as a pick to try and get around Chase Elliott, but Chase is going to go to the inside here, possibly 3 wide. Oh,
Makes better of it.
Yeah,
Put the bumper to the back of the 8. Now the 11 fighting for the lead with a 19. And Denny Hamlin takes the lead here at Martinsville.
And this fight continues right here. Joey Logano fighting for his life, trying to clear Reddick.
And Chase is doing a good job of being patient here. He could easily get in the back of the 8, send him up the track, go by both these guys. Oh, Reddick gets loose right there on corner entry, almost into the door of the 22. Chase now going to go look to the outside here.
Joey needs one good corner. If he can get the car to turn right here, can't. An 8 car in the side of him. Still, that gets it done. Now he's clear.
So Logano moves up into that 4th position. Chase Elliott also is going to use the outside line to get by Tyler Reddick. And maybe put the bumper to the back of Logano. Elliott feeling he's faster than the 22, and he's right on the back bumper. Up goes the 22 of Logano and Chase Elliott. Now drag race down the back stretch into 3.
Logano just does not have the speed he needs to take the fight to these guys. Pit crew did a great job. Paul Wolf, the strategy to get him this track position, but he just doesn't have the speed he needs.
This car, this number 8 car, Tyler Reddick, is in such a tough position right here.
So is William Byron
Yeah.
on the outside of 3 wide.
The good thing, though, Williams got the tires to be able to regroup and get around him. This 8 car is struggling on these old tires, falling back through the field. Not fun to be behind the wheel of a car like that. You've got no offense. You're completely at the mercy of all these guys around you.
Almirola coming up as well. He's in the top 10. William Byron running in that 9th spot. Marty.
I think any other Martinsville race, Rick, and no way Brad Keselowski takes it 3 wide there. But you can hear the sense of urgency from Brad, from Jeremy Bullens, from TJ Majors. They keep telling Brad, you have to stay aggressive with everybody. It's time to go. We have no time to waste. So I would have a feeling that bumper, the front bumper, the 2 cars, going to get used quite a bit here.
Right behind Brad Keselowski, some guys that are having great runs. You have Byron in 9th, Almirola 10th. Bubba Wallace recovering from an earlier incident in 11th. Bell, Reddick, Kurt Busch. How about Chris Buescher? 15th in that 17 car.
Brad almost into the left rear quarter panel. Joey's holding everybody up. You all know it. Brad drives in deep to get alongside.
Can't complete the pass.
Kyle Busch showing a lot of trust in Brad Keselowski. Kyle running that upper lane.
The fight back here between Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Logano for 6th, 7th, and 8th continues. We go NASCAR nonstop. So much to talk about this week on NASCAR America Motor Mouse. Again, that's streamed live on NBC Sports Channel on Peacock, and you can call in. That's the greatest part. Fans, call in, talk to the people that are on. It's amazing to hear everybody's opinion on what they think about maybe the Martinsville race, what's going on. Again, that's Monday and Wednesday, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern on PeacockTV.com. But NASCAR Motor Mouse, so much fun.
Well, Jeff and I are on tomorrow, and I have a sneaky suspicion with 93 to go, Jeff, we haven't even perhaps got the main topic we're going to discuss tomorrow. I think there's more to happen here at Martinsville.
Oh, I can about guarantee it. There's been so much happening, so much on the line already. Can't wait to have the fans call in. They always have great opinions. Sometimes we disagree with them, Jude.
Tyler Reddick, a little issue here. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. that decided to put the bumper to the back of that one.
Yeah, the racing in the back half of the field has been extremely entertaining here today.
If you're watching, not if you're in the back half of the field. Let's listen to Kyle Busch.
Is that the white flag? I mean, is he saying that's it? I can't go any further?
No, he's just frustrated. He thought he could run better. I mean, yeah, he's being honest. Look, I'm running 10th right here. Car's not doing anything I wanted to do. Christopher Bell's hounding me for the 10th position. But with 90 to go, make adjustments. 4 new tires, a restart. I mean, he's not going to give up.
He's 13 points out right now.
He's hurt absolutely terrible. And one thing I learned about Kyle Busch is, you know, you listen to his radio, you think he may have quit. He may be giving up, but that's not the case at all. He's just venting, man. He's just letting the steam out. He's not going to quit. He's going to give 100%. No way this guy's going to lay down.
Watching the Penske teammates up top, Brad Keselowski continues to try to take positions away, and one of them is teammate Joey Logano. Joey has to fight hard, though. Joey needing the win. Both these guys do. But to be able to get the win, they've got to get a little bit farther forward in this field to have a chance to attack during those late yellows. You can't restart 6th, 8th, trying to win this race late in this race. Look at that contact right there. I think it's the moment. Yeah, I think it's the moment in the race where, you know, Roger Penske would say, hey, you got to race each other just like there are other cars on the track. You know, we try to take care of each other, but we know now each one is out for himself because only one guy gets in at this stage of the race. I think the 11.
What you need is to be stuck by the lapper. Watch the crossover on exit. All clear.
TJ Major spotted for Brad Keselowski. And you can see Joey not real happy with that, giving Brad a little bit of a touchdown into turn 1. Parker.
And Dale, you hit the nail on the head. It was about 50 laps prior to this that the 2 called the 22 in that same fashion, and he was told just let him go. That time, not at all. Remember, they had a meeting this morning amongst all the Team Penske drivers and crew chiefs about how they would race each other come late in this race when maybe, as they are now, most of them are in a must-win position, and it was told, race them like you would race anyone else. They didn't want them to hold back at this point in the race, with every man for themselves, the Team Penske camp. We're starting to see that now. That 2 using a little bit of aggression to get by the 22.
And now he's trying to catch the 3 car. Brad's not going to be with Penske next year, so his allegiance, his loyalty, is probably not as high as those other guys, Logano and Blaney. He doesn't want to do anything to disappoint or frustrate Roger Penske on his way out, but he's definitely on a different agenda than his teammates are today. Can race a little bit more aggressively around them, I think.
I think coming into this race, no one thought within that camp that this would be the pace they have, right? They just have not had the speed, Marty.
So, Jeff, I wanted to ask about that meeting this afternoon, kind of get your take on that. Actually, this morning, they had a meeting at 10:30 with all the Team Penske drivers and Roger Penske in the meeting as well, and they kind of called the meeting to say, hey, how can we race each other? Can we race each other clean? Can we push each other out of the way? But aren't the rules a little bit different, Jeff, knowing, hey, Brad Keselowski's not going to be here in 2 weeks? I mean, do you treat him differently than you treat your other teammates if you're Joey Logano or Ryan Blaney?
Well, Marty, I think that the situation they were in coming into this race made that conversation much easier. Like, there really was only most likely one spot amongst a lot of drivers going for it. 3 of those drivers were Penske drivers. So, I mean, really, it was kind of almost a common sense conversation, right? No, they're not going to go out and intentionally wreck each other. But if you got to move somebody, is it going to be okay? I mean, am I going to have a job on Monday? And I think that, you know, that was handled correctly. To say, look, you guys race each other with respect, but also you all got to go do what you need to do for you and your individual team. The situation, to me, made the rules easy for them to enforce.
Brad Keselowski trying to pass Austin Dillon. Austin doing a really, really good job. He stayed out on these older tires. We saw pace in this car earlier in the race. Now that he's got the track position again, he's taking advantage of what the car can give him, and I think Brad's going to eventually get the position on him, but he's done a good job staying here in the top 10.
Well, familiar sight at Martinsville, but it's been quite a while. It's the 48 up front beating and banging. I say that because the 48, it's past the 9 for the 3rd position. So Alex Bowman in the 48 finding some pace when it matters most. 78 laps to go. Marty.
Yeah, the 48 certainly good, but the 9 not so good. We've talked about how it's cooled down here, Steve, and Chase Elliott just came on the radio to Alan Gustafson and said, hey, the harder I push this car, the worse it drives. Said it almost feels like there's way too much air in the rear tires. Alan told him, hey, take it easy for the rest of this run. They've got to find the pace they had early on. Again, he was a dominant car once he got past his teammate Kyle Larson. He's led 289 laps, but kind of losing the handle on that 9 car. Meanwhile, Keselowski still flying through the field. Restarted 14th, Keselowski up to 5th.
Keselowski continues to be the car on the move. He is the highest scored Ford right now, and really Ford's only hope as they're running on the racetrack to get into the championship 4. But he's got to do something amazing, and Martin Truex Jr. is going to have to falter if the 2 could get in. As we take a look at the Xfinity fastest lap, it was turned by Chase Elliott, and that was all the way back on lap 7. A lap time of just under 20 seconds.
And Bubba Wallace fans out there, he had to make a green flag pit stop, so he lost a couple laps on pit road. You find out what the issue was. I don't know if it was a wheel or a flat or some sort of issue brought the 23 to pit road.
Chase Elliott continuing to fight by lap traffic. And Elliott currently running in the 4th position after winning stage 1 and stage 2. Denny Hamlin up front, Martin Truex Jr. a second behind. Alex Bowman running in 3rd, 1.7 seconds back. There he is.
Alex Bowman lost a little bit of track position on that last pit stop. They had a lug nut issue. Now fighting back. He just got by Chase Elliott to get into 3rd. Here he is right on Truex.
And a 3-win season for Alex Bowman. Very impressive. A great season for him. When he entered the playoffs, he said, you know what, if there wasn't pressure, then you don't think you're in the mix. And so he thrived on the pressure. Obviously, a couple bad finishes didn't keep him involved in the playoffs, even into this round of 8. But good performance, a good season for Alex Bowman. Because now he's working on the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., trying to take that spot from him.
Alex is so smooth behind the wheel of a race car. He tries to get into the back bumper, this 19. One thing that I think is Alex's strength is his ability to maximize the pace of the car and do it every single lap. Lap after lap. He's not inconsistent. He doesn't overdrive the car. He doesn't miss the corner. Sharp little driver.
Yeah, somebody that just had the issue. We talked about Bubba Wallace earlier. Really good pace today, good speed. Top 12 most of the day. He just had to pit under green. Had a tire going down. Now he's 2 laps down. But he's got new tires on that thing. He's going to feel like Superman here for a little bit.
69 laps to go, and right now Hendrick has 2 cars locked into the championship 4. Joe Gibbs Racing trying to get 2 more to go NASCAR nonstop. The little bit older tires didn't work out for Austin Dillon. He was holding on to 6 when the right front goes down and up into the wall he goes, bringing out the caution for the 11th time today.
It's like a replay from earlier. Whatever it is that's cutting that tire down, it's a mystery. This happened earlier in the race, and again, he ends up the racetrack with the right front tire down, running in 6th place and having a great run, and gonna have to come down pit road and get that tuned up.
And that was decision time for all the lead lap cars. I expect everyone to pit. I think these tires are so old, 52 lap run, you have to have fresh tires for the 60 lap run or so to the finish. Parker.
Joe Logano will pit out of the 6th place position, still lacking that rear end stability on entry in that 22 car. This could be one of the most important stops. Remember, in the last stop, this team was able to get him 3 spots.
Denny Hamlin said he's pretty happy with the balance, and the car's turning as well as it has all day. No adjustments for the 11, Dave.
Martin Truex Jr., same as it's been all day. At the 5/8 mark, it gets bound up. I can't drive off the corner, Marty.
How about Brad Keselowski? He said the car has very good on the end of that run from 14th to 5th for Keselowski. Said he's still too free. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott said everything in the car is more numb than it's been all day long. Not as sharp on turn as it was earlier in the race. Denny Hamlin holds serve here on pit road.
Chase Elliott grabs a spot there. Martin Truex Jr. loses one on pit road. Time so valuable, especially now at the end of the season. Time running out for the playoff drivers. Time running out in this race right now. And interestingly enough, here at Martinsville, it's time with a grandfather clock that is the prize if you get to victory lane. And it's been that way for a long, long time, Rutt.
That's right, Rick. This tradition started in 1964. Fred Lorenzen was the first one to get one of these, and it was all about celebrating the area. The Ridgeway Clock Company originally made it. Take a look at this gorgeous thing. You can see why so many of these drivers covet this trophy. It is unbelievable, the presence of it. And yeah, we might see somebody advance their way into the finals, but even if we don't see that championship driver, whoever wins this thing today, we know is going to be happy with this clock, guys.
Yeah, definitely coveted prize. And it's one of those that we talked about it earlier. You don't know exactly what the trophy looks like at certain tracks, but when you come to Martinsville, you know exactly what the trophy is here. Bowman and Hamlin making up row 1. Truex Jr. and Elliott making up row 2. As they run, Martin Truex Jr. still inside the championship 4 by 9 points above teammate Kyle Busch. Again, it's the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs from Martinsville. The Xfinity 500 coming down to the last 57 laps. Hamlin on the inside, Bowman on the outside as they come through 4.
Look at how low they all are on the front straightaway, coming trying to block any kind of 3-wide move into turn 1.
Hamlin played a little game right there. He got really slow. Everybody checked up, and then he took off.
The games are going to pick up. The intensity is going to pick up. Drivers are going to start getting frustrated with each other. Oh, 24 slide up the racetrack a little bit right there.
Here comes Keselowski in that 2. Now, right on the back bumper of the 19 of Martin Truex Jr.
Thanks to that choose cone and the ability to kind of put yourself where you want to be. He's now fighting for another position here on the inside of the 19. Look at the pace out of this 2-car late in this race.
I think Truex was very wise to realize that he had more to lose.
Oh, 48 seconds into turn 3. Trying his hardest to take the lead away from the 11. Denny up the racetrack on corner exit. 48's got a position on him down in the corner. No contact, good hard racing here. Good acceleration from the 11 FedEx Toyota down the straightaway. He keeps the position.
Great job by Denny right there. Went up the racetrack far enough to give himself room to turn down and be right on the door of the 48 of Bowman. Good speed on corner exit.
And right now, as they run, the only way Brad Keselowski is going to advance into the championship 4 is if he wins this race, because Martin Truex Jr. is doing everything smart enough to keep the amount of points that he has. There's not enough positions in front of Brad Keselowski to get enough points unless Martin Truex Jr. has a problem. Marty.
Rick, believe me, Brad Keselowski knows exactly the task ahead of him. He must win to advance to the championship 4. On that last run, as he puts the bumper to Chase Elliott, he went from 14th to 5th. Now he's up here with a shot to get by Elliott. Elliott blocking that move, but Keselowski knows time is running out.
Yeah, this is getting real aggressive right here between Brad Keselowski and Chase Elliott.
Oh, the big damage to the 19 car, the left front. Huge, huge damage.
That all happened off of turn 2.
And this is what Brad Keselowski wants to see right here. Points are available. Every spot the 19 loses is a point to the 2 car. The 18 as well. They're only 1 point. So what we thought was a pretty easy points battle has heated up quickly. Now Kyle Busch is in there thinking, I need to get a point. I need to catch Brad Keselowski. You see on the left-hand side, Truex +6, Kyle -6. Brad only a point behind the 18 car.
This battle continues. Yeah, right here. Rick, Brad's tried multiple times to get underneath him. Right here, Chase is able to get good speed on corner exit. This time Brad's in good shape, though.
We got a battle for the lead. We got a battle for 3rd. We got battles all over the racetrack. Incredible, incredible action here at Martinsville today. Late in this race, all these guys on different agendas trying to make it happen. 48 car losing a few car lengths to Denny down the back straightaway now.
Keselowski still putting pressure on the 9 of Chase Elliott. Now to the inside. He's got the position.
Yeah, at some point, Brad's just going to have to send it down in here and hope for the best.
I wasn't sure if the 9 of Chase Elliott was trying to move over down the back straightaway and let him have the outside and go around, and Brad wasn't sure. He's going to spin him out.
Around goes the 9, and the caution comes out.
They were really close getting into turn 3. It looked like Brad got loose on entry. These two have been going at it. So here they are down the back straightaway. See a little bit of contact entering 3, and then right after that, Brad got loose and got into it. But earlier, off of turn 2, yeah, I don't know if Chase was moving over to say, hey, go on the outside, or if he was
I think he was.
I do too.
I think at that particular point he was saying, I'm going to move down, let you have it.
But see, that's when the 19 got his damage. That stacked everybody up. Here's this contact right here.
Brad just trying too hard. Got in the corner a little bit too hot.
So now the question is, does the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. come to pit road, or do they believe the fender can last? If they come to pit road,
That's going to pull off, but I guess we could take our time, but only 44 laps, and I don't think we will recover.
James Small is saying, listen, if we pit here and we repair that fender with only 44 laps to go, we're going to lose 20 spots. Remember how we talked so many cars back in the lead lap? There are 22 cars on the lead lap. Truex would start outside the top 15.
Steve, but you're sitting there watching as he turns the steering wheel. That fender is laying directly on the contact patch of the tire. And so I know that the team had to have seen the same thing we just did.
No, I mean, he just split up a little more than I thought.
And so I don't know what you would do in this situation. Obviously, if they pit, they've got too much ground to make up. So that would look at the fender move as he's turning the steering wheel.
But it's the nose, though. The nose is composite. It's not steel. So Steve, you're the crew chief. You're the one that's got to make this call.
Well, there's 5 cars that had pitted right there. I mean, listen, if it lasts, you're a genius. If it's a flat, why didn't you pit? I mean, it's always easy after the fact. Right here again, though, another shot at where he got the damage. It was right there in the right rear of the 2 of Brad Keselowski as the 2 slid up. I think.
Hi, Steve.
Yes, sir.
So remember last week at Kansas, any little fender into the tire was a major, major problem. It was explained to me this morning by one of the car chiefs for Joe Gibbs Racing that there aren't as many braces on the fenders of these cars at these short tracks. And so there are fewer braces in there. The tire kind of clearances itself better, pushes away that debris.
Well, what I will say, while it looks awful, as we saw the 19 continue to run, I didn't see a tremendous amount of smoke. So I think it actually is the biggest concern when he goes to clean the tires going left and right. So I perhaps would let Truex know, hey, man, try not to clean your tires until you're absolutely necessary, because when you turn to the right, it seems that's when the left front makes the biggest contact. Marty.
Chaos just starting in Martinsville, it feels like, with 42 to go. You saw Chase Elliott come to pit road, did not say a word about Brad Keselowski spinning him out. You'll also notice they did not take any tires here. That's because pretty much everybody out of tires here on pit road. Teams have scuffs, Steve, that are about anywhere from 10 to 14 laps on those scuffs. Meanwhile, for Brad Keselowski, you saw a moment ago, they looked at pictures on that damage from the right front. They feel like that is fine as well. So, and again, still 42 laps to go. So there could be a lot that happens between now and the end of this race.
Well, we had this discussion yesterday. What were people willing to do on these restarts? And we all thought Noah Gragson would do something crazy. In the end, he had a spectacular move around the outside of Hemrick, winning the race and advancing in the Xfinity Series playoffs. Well, now, a day later, really it's the same question. Brad Keselowski on row 2. The 19 on row 3, the 18 on row 3. Those 3 cars are all in a knotted points battle / not needing to win, but if they all run here, then it's obvious the 19's in the best shape.
Yep.
So there's a lot of stories that are going to unfold here with 41 to go.
Does the 19 last for these 41 laps or 40 laps when they come back to the stripe here for the green?
Said I still want to win, but that if the 19 has any issues, as long as we're ahead of the 18, we're good.
That was information going to Brad Keselowski. Green flags back in the air. Is there a little bit of smoke out of the 19?
That was a good launch by Denny on that restart, but Brad Keselowski's right there. Oh, we got a spin behind. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. goes around. No contact.
Caution comes out again.
Re-rack him.
Oh, the 23 has heavy damage to the front of their car. I don't know if that was from earlier or...
My goodness. Yeah.
So many cars are wrecked. I believe that's from this wreck. I think I saw that one, Rick, but there's so much damage out there. This
so
looks like new damage.
Yeah, that front end really got messed up.
So he got in the back of somebody, and I don't think it's Ricky Stenhouse. I think he's running to the right rear or left rear quarter panel of another car on the racetrack.
9 might have a little damage to the left rear, it sounds like. It's hard to say. There's just... I don't think there's a car here without at least a couple Pieces of sheet metal dented, smashed.
I think if I came out of here with a car without any marks on it, I'd be disappointed.
I think it means we broke early.
Yeah.
We must have had a mechanical issue real early. It's usually rule of thumb, you'd rather have the marks on the right side. That usually means you're doing the moving. On the left side, you're kind of getting moved up.
That's right.
I think this caution's a break for the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. because if he does have a tire rub, it's not going to rub under caution, right? The car's not down in the ground. You said it earlier, don't swerve your tires. Don't do that. But these caution laps, to me, would save that left front tire from being cut anymore.
Well, he still has over 38 to go in this one, or 38 now.
And every caution puts another car back on the lead lap. And I only say that in case chaos breaks out. How far can you fall, Marty?
Kyle Larson coming down pit road. They had a little bit of damage and contact on the left rear, so they thought, let's just come down here, check that, make sure we can clearance that. So that's what they're going to do. And you can see how the Goodyear is rubbed off. So they're going to go left side tires here, get that damage cleared out for Kyle Larson, who's had a very nice Martinsville day. I know it's not going to be a win clearly for the 5 team, but they have learned a lot, I think, this afternoon. Kyle Larson gotten better as the afternoon's gone along.
And we're going to see where that damage came from right here in this replay. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. get down into turn 3, gets loose underneath Larson. Gets help from behind, I believe, from Chris Buescher. He spins up the track into the side of the 5 car.
Oh, and then I think there's a 9 was coming in there. Like maybe it was the 23 that made contact with the 9.
9 got lucky. Yeah, if that's the case, the 9 got the best of that. Damage to the 23 we saw was very significant.
Bubba Wallace in that 23 now on pit road.
Bubba, take the fender off. Trust me.
It's not worked.
Talk about this.
For Chase. It has not worked for Austin Dillon.
Now they got to be
He's
careful.
got 2 tires cut since he lost his right front.
They went right back.
I was getting ready to say, that's the first.
Impressive.
That's pretty good. Yeah, man, just we got to put this right back where it goes, tape it up.
Look at that thing.
It just folded right back in place.
Good job.
I do question, though, how long it's going to stay there.
Yeah.
That was Michael. It looks like it's going to fold back into the tire when it gets underway.
Let's take another look at this and see where the 23 comes into it. I think
he's quite a ways back.
He's behind
Chase.
the 9 right here. But then watch the 9. The 9's going to get smashed right there. You see the back of the 9 go up. I believe that's where the damage came from. Regardless, the fact is damage occurred.
Yes. And so, once again, they choose either inside or outside. It's Hamlin on the inside, and Alex Bowman will be on the outside. That puts Brad Keselowski on the inside, just behind Denny Hamlin for the restart.
Truex picked the top. Now on the outside of Brad.
It'll be 34 laps to go. We come back around. Kip Childress pulls the pace car back onto pit road. Back through the restart zone and back up through the gears. It was an issue earlier for Denny Hamlin, not this time though. Alex Bowman with a great restart as well. Trying to clear that too of Brad Keselowski.
Brad's trying to roll the center of the corner really quickly. Watch him as he gets down here. A little bit of contact.
Man, Bowman running really tight right here. Oh, more contact. And Bowman just really not giving Brad a ton of room. That's obviously his prerogative to do that. But it kind of puts Brad in a situation where he would, again, get loose. Look at this.
Are they going to be 3 wide?
Truex is gone.
Bumper. In the middle. Clear high, one inside. I'll get
Truex
tight.
a little loose right there. Now he's the meat of the sandwich.
Keselowski up to second.
I'll be honest, I don't understand that move from Truex right there. Position he's in at points, that was a...
Don't look in the mirror, you're driving away. 48-3 back.
It's an aggressive move.
Smoke out of the left front of the 48. Damage to the left side. Now the 18 working to pass the 19 of Truex.
4 points separate Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch right now.
And Truex gets sent up the racetrack. Here's a replay of the move, guys.
Yeah, just very hopeful move. I mean, you know, to go 3 wide's one thing, but only to the left for a quarter panel of a guy getting into 3. That's an aggressive move. Watch right here. Late. Just nowhere near enough.
Truex up the track. This is going to cost him even more spots.
More spots, more points. Martin Truex Jr.
into the
wall. He could be out of the championship 4 now.
Rolling here. Inside 3.
It's Keselowski and Kyle Busch. Busch now up there into the championship 4. Caution has come out again.
Ryan Preece spun out. Flat tires on that car down the back straightaway. But now look at the points with Truex losing those positions. Kyle Busch currently in at 4th.
And at this point, we asked, should Truex pit? I think at this point you have to pit and hope chaos breaks out with 28 to go. Right? He's out of tires. Come in, get the fenders clear.
What are you supposed to do?
See what happens here. Kurt Busch and him get together coming off the corner. Oh man, that's tough. That's frustrating.
It all started though when he made that move into 3. It just wasn't a move he needed to make, and it just was hoping to make something happen.
We need to stay out for sure. I don't understand what's up, dude.
So you hear the conversation. Needs to stay out because, you know, he's 11th, and now there's 23 cars in the lead lap. He's only a couple points behind. You see the points on the bottom left. Kyle in by a point. Truex and Keselowski both out by a point right there. The 10 gets loose, takes the 19 up the racetrack.
Again, apologize for the language. Live coverage of the sporting event here.
This is a great view right here on board. You see. Once you get up in that high lane, there's just not much you can do. You're trying to fight your way to the bottom, but you continue to just battle.
And with pit road open, 19 stays on the racetrack. Chase Elliott, the 20 car, and a few others come down pit road for some service, but Truex is going to try to fight it out on this restart.
He's dropped back to 12, and that puts him 1 point behind teammate Kyle Busch. And Busch right now running in the 5th position.
See, so to Truex, how frustrated you would be. You know, you got to run way up the racetrack.
I think that's important. This will probably be the most important choose of his season. Whatever line he puts himself in here, he's got to hope that it's the right choice and he can advance. Not getting the choose just yet, but it's a very cool thing that NASCAR's brought into the sport, to be able to choose the line you want to get in. A lot of times before that rule was there, you were kind of forced either into the outside or inside line, and you didn't get to determine your fate. Late in a race like this, 25 to go, if there's a lane you don't want to be in, it's nice to be able to make that choice yourself.
And Junior, so many times, especially here at Martinsville, we saw people jockeying to getting off of pit road to find that preferred, you know, line, either inside or outside.
Oh, now all that's gone. We don't have to mess with that anymore. Drivers don't have to worry about it. It's interesting, having driven in the Xfinity race this year, how that choose rule is determined, or how that choose is determined by the teams. The spotters are critical to give the drivers the information about how many cars are choosing each line, so that you can go as a driver, okay, I'm going to this line because of the number of cars that are not in it, or vice versa. So pretty interesting. A lot of information going down at this particular point.
Brad took the outside. Kyle to the bottom. Kyle Busch to the bottom. Every restart. Let's listen to what the 2 cars talking about.
So the 19 got the fence pretty hard. Lost a bunch of spots. That puts us 1 point behind the 18, who's 3 cars behind you. He's in 5th. So it's going to be really, really close between all 3 of you. So our still best option is to get across.
Our best options to win. Agreed.
Get a clock.
Agreed.
That's right.
So on this restart, Denny Hamlin every time has come down very, very slowly. Drug everybody back and then launched quickly. Let's see if he does it again.
He goes a little bit earlier this time.
Yeah, showed him something different.
And Bowman jumps into the spot. That second position easily clears it. Now he's going to fight with the 11 for the lead.
Oh,
The
48
bumper
in
to the back.
Up the racetrack goes Denny.
Here comes the 18 as well. Bowman takes the lead away.
You got to imagine it's coming back right here into turn one. Bowman actually gives him the bottom. Expecting to get pushed into the corner, lets him have the bottom. And Denny's going to retake the lead.
Side by side, Hamlin back out front at Martinsville.
How about Kyle Busch all of a sudden in the battle for the lead? Bowman giving him no room into one.
Kyle Busch, 1 point to the good in the championship 4 as he's running. And the 2 of Brad Keselowski right behind him. Contact made again.
Brad's going to the inside here of the 18. Does he force it? Kyle with a really wide entry, trying to get the acceleration off the corner. Behind them, Martin Truex Jr. trying to gain a spot or two here and there. He's continuing to make this a three-way battle for that 4th position in points.
Currently
tied. That's
Yes.
right. Exact same amount of points, and the tiebreaker probably will go to the finish of this race right here. If Kyle Busch finishes in front of Brad Keselowski, he would advance.
And I believe the 19 has points available, although it gets really loose off the corner. Now the 43's on the inside of him.
43's got better tires. He pitted on lap 457. Eric Jones has a tire advantage.
Under 18 laps to go. The bumper to the 18. The 2 of Keselowski gives the 18 the bumper. They continue to fight for position. Martin Truex Jr., lower right of your screen in the 19, fighting for every point he can get. He's out right now based on the tiebreaker.
You see at the top of the screen, the battle for the lead continues to stay hot. Bowman trying to get a clock today. Denny Hamlin trying to win this race and get his 5th win at Martinsville, or his 6th win at Martinsville. He gives Bowman the bottom. Smart move. Knowing you can accelerate off the corner.
See, Truex, he is putting tons of pressure on Kurt Busch. Keselowski putting tons of pressure on Kyle Busch. Has a good run off of 2. Nope, Kyle out drags him down the back.
Keselowski still in a position where he's got to get up front. He's got to win this race now with the 2 guys he's competing against. They have 5 points more than he does.
Yeah, the battle for 3rd is not as important to Brad as it is to Kyle. Kyle can't afford to lose that point. Bowman to the inside of the 11. The 19 is trying everything he can do to get to the rear bumper of the 1. A battle for the lead on the top of the screen.
What a run by Bowman. Clean through 1 and 2. Hamlin stays up higher. Bowman down low. No contact. Still about 2 feet separating the 2 cars.
12 laps to go.
That's a lot of time here. 12 laps.
Kyle Busch putting a little distance between himself and Keselowski. Again, right now, as they run, Kyle Busch in the championship 4. 11 laps to go.
Bowman's going to have to try something a little bit different. Hamlin's car is really good on corner exit, even in that top lane. And Truex, he's back here behind Kurt. It's faster than Kurt, just can't find a way around.
No positions have changed between Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. They're still locked in points.
Truex can't open up the entry.
Tied with Truex, and we have the tiebreaker for finish 3rd.
So he's got the back bumper of him. Now he's on the inside here. Truex can't open up the entry to try to get underneath the one car on the corner exit because all these cars behind him.
Truex is in good shape right here, though. I think Truex can drive it in the corner. He's got a good enough turn. Now he just needs to drive into 3 and use all the racetrack.
This one position, that 1 point, could mean a possibility at a championship.
Good corner right there by Truex. Kurt is really fighting him hard here.
Coming up on 7 laps to go. The pressure still being put to Denny Hamlin by Alex Bowman. Now, Martin Truex Jr. surging ahead of the 1. That point will put Martin Truex Jr. back inside the championship 4.
Now Truex has to hold the 1 off and the 43 off, the 1 back to his rear bumper as the 48 continues to try to take the lead from the 11.
Oh!
The 11 around.
The 11 goes around and the caution will come out. A restart.
Down into turn 3. The 48 gets loose into the corner. You can see the back coming around. He has to chase the car up the track into the left rear corner panel of Denny Hamlin. Denny goes around into the wall. Typical Martinsville, 2 cars racing hard at the end of this race, and the guy on the inside trying his hardest. Overruns the entry of the corner. We see it over and over. This is late in the race where those front brakes gave out. You got a lot of rear brake in the car because the front brakes are giving up time and time again. When you see them running so hard, you know they're pushing really, really hard, and those front brakes are going away, and that entry gets looser as those brakes fade.
And Denny Hamlin doesn't care why. He just knows he got wrecked leading the race. But they ran side by side for so long, and, you know, Bowman, to his credit, he got into Denny. But then smartly, you know, changed lanes and let Denny have his lane. But then right there, Bowman just overstepped his bounds a little bit, spun Denny out.
We are going to be in overtime, presented by Credit One Bank. Let's listen in on the 48 and 11 radios as to what just happened on the racetrack.
Oh, that sucks. I just got loose in there. Trying to pull off a win here.
We're still in this thing. We're still fine. We got to finish it off. Remain focused right now. I knew it was going to happen. There was no way he wasn't going to wreck you. It's just the mentality these days.
Well, so that's the driver of the 48, and it sounded like the crew chief of the 11. I never heard Denny's voice in that. Sure, he has an opinion. But to what the crew chief said, stick with us because he's 9 points above, so he's okay right in 23rd. But let's just everybody remain calm here because Truex has some points to gain. 18 doesn't really have any points to gain, but this is going to get crazy. Don't sleep on Brad back there now in row 2.
Truex just picked up a ton of spots. Keselowski went to the bottom.
It's going to get messy.
Keselowski went to the bottom. Byron went to the bottom also. That allowed the 19 of Truex had rolled to the top, so now he's starting right behind Kyle Busch.
I have the feeling that Bowman is going to be a punching bag right here with these guys.
Yes, because the 18 and the 2 both really need to win right now. They don't have enough points in front of them that they can gain.
Well, Kyle's going to try to pitch off Bowman. That's going to slow him down, and that's going to create a target for Brad Keselowski.
2 to go. Green flag back in the air.
Oh, great launch by the 48, but he missed a shift. He had a little trouble. They're slow on the shift. 22 gained a car length back. But what a great launch.
Now to the outside, Kyle Busch fighting as they go into 3. And the white flag. One more time around for Martinsville. Bowman looking for his 4th win of the season.
Bowman better get away right here. Kyle got loose off of turn 2. That gave Bowman a little bit of a gap. I don't think Kyle can get to him.
He's not going to get there. Alex Bowman coming out of 4. He's going to win at Martinsville. Martin Truex Jr. looks like he will finish in a position that will get him into the championship for the 18 spins in turn 2. The 2 that will advance look to be Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. This is what happened just after they finished.
And Kyle knew the 2 was there. It's like, here, finish me off.
How about that?
And this is going to get interesting.
Oh, boy.
Denny Hamlin not happy with the way Bowman raced him.
Denny, be smart. Big picture here. Big picture.
Maybe words of wisdom coming through the radio for Denny Hamlin.
I know he's frustrated. That's probably the best thing he can do is not make NASCAR have to get involved here. Get on back to the garage and get in the pits to your team. I think he got his message across, though.
I think he caught Alex Bowman's attention.
This guy here, though, I think he's bothered by it too
much. 4
much.
wins on the season for Alex Bowman. The 28-year-old from Tucson, Arizona, so good at Phoenix. The problem is he wasn't a part of the round of 8 drivers, so he won't have a chance at fighting for a championship, even though he gets this win here at Martinsville. Marty?
His word to me, wow. So why the contact with Denny Hamlin? What happened there?
I just got loose in. I got in too deep, knocked him out of the way, and literally let him have the lead back. So for anybody that wants to think that I was trying to crash him, it obviously wasn't the case, considering I literally gave up the lead at Martinsville to give it back to him. So he's been on the other side of that. He's crashed guys here for wins. I hate doing it. Obviously, it's not, I don't want to crash somebody, and I just got in, got loose underneath him, and spun him out. So regardless, we get a freaking grandfather clock. It's pretty special. I've struggled here for a long time, so I was trying to get the flag, do a backwards victory lap. Mark Martin thinks that's cool, and Mark Martin's like my hero. So obviously, like I said, hate we wrecked the 11, but man, how about that for Chevrolet and Ally and everybody on this 48 team. 48 cars won here a bunch. It's cool to do it again.
So to clarify, there was or was not intent in your second contact with Denny?
No, I just got loose underneath him. Like, I'm not trying to drive under there and crash the guy. I hadn't run into him. I caught him. I got under him fair, under him clean, and I just got sideways underneath him and spun him out. So hate to do that, obviously unintentional, but part of short track racing.
As you're celebrating, he pulls up to you. What was your reaction to that?
Man, I wasn't going to get into any, this isn't Bowman Gray Stadium, right? This is the Cup Series. So as much as we could have made the highlight reel, we might climb the fence here because I want to see my engine tuner do it. The fence might come down, but yeah, It's one of those deals.
All right, for the 48 team, a huge win here at Martinsville, so meaningful to Hendrick Motorsports. Dylan Welch has Denny Hamlin.
And Denny, I know obviously you're not happy with what happened, but what is your take on the contact down there?
He's just a hack. He's just an absolute hack. He gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. And terrible. He's just terrible, and he sees one opportunity and he takes it. But obviously, he's got the fastest car every week and he runs 10th. So he didn't want to race us there. We had a good clean race. I moved up as high as I could on the racetrack to give him all the room I could, and he still can't drive.
To be that close with the day you guys had to come from the back, how much more frustrating does that make it to get cleaned out, in your opinion, there at the very end?
I didn't hear what you said.
To have the day you guys had coming from the back like you did, does that make it worse at the end?
No, I mean, we got in, we did what we had to do, but like I just wanted to race there at the end, and just, he's just terrible.
Thanks, Denny.
Dave.
And we'll hear from Kyle Busch now, who finished the day second. A strong run after it looked almost impossible most of the day, but you'll be 3 points short today, Kyle.
We just missed last week. That's where we lost all the ground, and could have come in here with 15 more points, and we would have been fine on the cut, but just wasn't it, and wasn't meant to be. Obviously, it was Truex's day, and we had a Hail Mary opportunity there at the end, and just didn't materialize. So all in all, just, proud of the effort. For sure, we slung everything and anything at this thing today and just couldn't really make it come alive. But great effort. That was there for sure. We just got to get better, and everybody included, whole team, in order to be able to go race with the best and race for a championship, and we're not going to do that this year.
Kyle, how will you look back on this season now, not being able to race for the championship next week?
Anytime you go into a season with Toyota, Joe Gibbs Racing, this 18 M&M's team, myself, you expect to be championship in contention and eligible. So anything other than that's a failure. So, guess you get an F.
High expectations not met this year by Kyle Busch. Finishes second. What a strong run that doesn't end up in the championship 4 run.
Dave, you mentioned championship 4. Here they are. Kyle Larson, 2 wins in this round. He advances. Chase Elliott, with the points he earned in the first 2 stages, advances on points. Denny Hamlin on points as well. Martin Truex Jr. also advancing on points. So Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson, the only 2 that have not won a championship, that will be a part of the championship 4.
Every year we find a new wrinkle, and what can make the difference in a playoff run. At Martinsville, perhaps it was the choose for Truex. Only 1 point above Kyle Busch coming to the Trues. Currently, Truex nowhere in the picture, running 6th. You see right here, bottom. Only Kyle Busch takes the top. So right here, this light blue car, Truex turns right, drives all the way up to the 2nd row. That goes from 6th to 4th. It goes from basically tied to ahead of Kyle Busch. Does a great job in the restart, securing those points. The choose rule was the difference for Martin Truex Jr. in this crazy finish.
He will be a part of the championship 4, looking for his 2nd Cup Series championship, as well as Chase Elliott. Those 2 are looking for multiple championships. And again, 2 other drivers in there, Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin, looking for their first championship weekend at Phoenix Saturday. Countdown to green for the Xfinity Series. That'll be on NBCSN. And then Sunday, a Cup champion will be determined, 3:30 on NBC. And plenty more to hear from these drivers. Join us on NBCSN for all of that, the NASCAR America post-race show. That, again, coming up next on NBCSN. Smiles for Martin Truex Jr. He's a part of the championship 4. He has a possibility of winning another title. It was Alex Bowman. The crowd roared when Denny Hamlin went around. They roared again when Alex Bowman crossed the start-finish line, winning here at Martinsville.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.